WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. Johnny Hill producing as always. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A ton to get into. We had the first two of the first four games last night in Dayton. We had the first, first Major League Baseball game of the season this morning in Korea. A lot to talk about today. We have SEC opponents for the 2025 season. Some football news in there, interestingly enough. So a lot to get to, but Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well in game one of 162 for the Padres and the Dodgers in the books.
Yeah, it is, and it's weird. I don't really understand it, but hey.
What's new? Dodgers sitting on top of the NL West.
I guess so. Good for them, I guess. It just seems weird that they're starting this early. I guess I understand. You want to get over there and then give them enough time to get back before the season starts. But I don't know why we couldn't have had this like over the weekend or something and do it then and then have them come back. And by the time they get back, everyone is starting the season. It can be better timed out. I just think it's a little early for it.
And a lengthy game. So much for the quick pace of the game. Over 3 hours. I watched probably the last 3 innings of it this morning and the bomb threat around Shohei.
Yeah. How about that? But hey, it was a fun game.
Stupidity's worldwide, isn't it?
That's true. I guess so. But I recorded it and watched. I watched it when I woke up. I was not going to wake up, and I think when I woke up, they're probably in the 7th or 8th inning. I watched it. I tried to stay away from scores and who won, and so I recorded it and watched it. So. Fun game, I guess.
So you were a record guy. You didn't want you don't turn on radio and hear breaking news.
First time I've ever done it, Brett.
Okay.
So it was a new experience, and it was okay. I guess it was different, but it was all right. I guess we'll try it again tomorrow and see what happens.
In the day, and your parents, I know, remember this to watch to go to or listen to Tiger basketball games at the Coliseum and a hustle back home to hear Matt Dillon calling the games with Coach Al Brown on Channel 10.
Yeah, I hear about it all the time, constantly.
I bet you
Pretty
did.
much every basketball season. I get.
Well, it was great.
Yeah.
It was, and Arkansas would do it as well. They would rerun it after the 10 o'clock news on the ABC affiliate, Channel 7. They would run it at 10:30, and a lot of people would have parties and agree not to know and not to find out there and watch it as is.
How about that? Wow.
Yeah.
Different times. It'd be almost impossible to do that now.
How about listening parties for the consolation game,
I love it.
Arkansas versus Notre Dame in St. Louis in 1978.
That's great. I love that. I did not know that was a thing, but that's even better than a watch party of a game that already happened. That's great.
That was a game that Memphis and Jimmy Counts from White Station High,
how about that?
His dad, legendary engineer in there, late Mr. Bill Counts, Jimmy Counts took a cheap shot elbow from Bill Lane Beer for Notre Dame. And ruptured his lung. He spent 6 weeks in a St. Louis hospital. Wow. Bill Lane Beer was a thug then.
Wow, how about that? Good to know. It's a little different now with technology and everything. I mean, we've talked about it before, Brett. I mean, it's almost impossible not to know something that happened and try to do the whole record thing and watch it later. Almost impossible.
We'll get it this summer around the Olympics, though.
Yeah, and I heard we're gonna have a red zone like broadcast for the Olympics this year on Peacock. Gold Zone is what they're gonna call it, and kind of wrap around. Go to all the different events and.
Oh, Bryant, you haven't picked golf on Wednesday in an Olympic year yet, have you?
No, I have. That was last year was my first year, and I picked the winners, Andrew Schauffele. That was my first year.
2 years ago.
Whenever it was.
When they made up
right,
the Olympics.
Right,
so you did. That's right.
So,
it took a while to get the 2020 Olympics in, didn't
I was about to say, we forgot about the whole COVID thing. So it was only 2 years ago. But yes, so
It took us about 4 years to get in the 2020 Olympics.
Sure did. And then before we knew it, the Winter Olympics were here, and we were going, wait a minute, that's off. That wasn't 4 years.
You're right. You had Xander Schauffele.
Right.
That is
That's
correct.
Right. That was, I think, my first win was with Xander Schauffele in the Olympics. The Olympics, I didn't get to pretty much watch any of it because those golf rounds were going on in literally the middle of the night. So yeah,
I enjoyed Dayton last night, but I closed off on something I was going to keep a close eye on tonight.
What's
Virginia's
that?
offense.
Oh yeah. That was
Tony Bennett, great coach, isn't he?
He is absolutely probably one of the best that's still in the game.
All but 10 places fire their coach today and hire him. 20.
Yeah, maybe
20
less. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's he's a great coach. But last night was not his team's
that was
best
a grind.
performance. And I've seen a lot of people
14 at halftime.
Yeah, it was.
That's football.
It was. I mean, literally 27-14 was the score. That is literally football. You see that game, that score on Saturdays. And so it was really bad. And it wasn't like Colorado State was playing this, out of this world defense. I mean, Virginia was just straight up missing shots. I mean, there were wide open mid-range shots, threes. I mean, just missing everything left and right. So no, not their best performance. But I've seen a lot of overreactions today about him and about that team. I don't think they should have been in the NCAA tournament to begin with, but they certainly showed and proved a lot of people right that didn't think they were supposed to be there last night.
We're hearing a lot of that today about them not in. All I would ask about not being in is we're going to have another defeated team tonight at a 10 versus 10. Mm-hmm. Should they not be in?
Well, if they score 14 points in the first half, I'd put them right there with them. But
that's fair.
If it's more competitive, then I don't think there will be as much.
And then tomorrow we're going to have 16 defeateds tomorrow.
Sure. Well, and that's
somebody really stink. So that whole they shouldn't be, they should be. I'm not that big of at bowl time or at NCAA tournament time of second guessing that committee because you could just drive yourself nuts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, easily. Well, and that's what you're going to get all day tomorrow, all day Friday is, let's say Michigan State, beats Mississippi State in the first game tomorrow. People are going to say, oh, yeah, this shows, Michigan State deserved to be a 9. They should have probably even been an 8. Or, you'll see, Kansas as the 4 seed. They might lose to Samford, and people are going to say, oh, they never deserved a 4 seed. They should have been, a 7 or 8 seed. You're going to see that after every single game.
Right. And it's easy to
Friday.
do.
It's very easy to do. But what's not easy to do is select all these teams and place them in spots and create the bracket. So, no, you're right. I don't like to go after the committee for placements, but I sure would have rather seen probably about 4 or 5 teams in that game last night rather than Virginia.
Notably Indiana State.
I'd even probably say those Big East schools that got left out. Providence,
St. John's,
Seton Hall, St. John's certainly in there. Those are probably the 4 teams that last night after that game I was going, no matter what the final, even if they lost, I would have rather seen those teams in there rather than Virginia.
Do we have consensus that the Tigers' best win of the year was Virginia?
Yeah. I would.
The wildest was UAB.
I would say yes.
Sure,
yeah, I would too, Johnny.
I would almost maybe say Texas A&M just because it was down there, but I understand how bad you beat Virginia. That factor coming in, but Texas A&M on the road was a really good game.
It was,
and Memphis probably should have won that game. Closer to double digits, if not by double digits. They kind of, scored a handful of points in that final minute when the Tigers had really let
Clemson was a good win.
Clemson was a really good win. I mean, those 3, it's hard to argue with them because I think all 3 of those were really good wins. But certainly Virginia in there, definitely.
The proverbial at the time, Michigan, Arkansas.
Sure.
And at the time, Mizzou.
Oh, at the time, certainly Mizzou. I mean, that comeback win.
Not now.
No,
not last Sunday.
No, that was a Friday night against Missouri. I remember everybody texting each other, oh, wow, that comeback win. This team's legit, coming in on that Monday saying, man, look at this team. And now you look up and Missouri didn't win a game in conference play.
Felt like at halftime that night at Columbia, more out of that game than the home game and the crazy comeback against UAB.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of that setting, football weekend in Columbia, et cetera.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a really good point. And so there were a lot of wins that I think you look back, and certainly at the time were good wins. But you go back to that 3-game stretch there of A&M, Clemson, and Virginia. I mean, all three of those I think could be up there for best win of the season.
And down at Atlantis, I didn't think North Carolina would be this image of their team. It's North Carolina. I knew they'd probably be good, but just everybody having them to the Final Four. I didn't think that was the case.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. And I mean, going back to what that team was last year, and then turning around and kind of what happened in the portal with them, lost some guys, added some guys. I thought they'd be good, but I definitely didn't think they'd be a number 1 seed. And I think a team that could go pretty far in this tournament. I like this North Carolina team.
A little college basketball self-reflection here.
Okay.
Do you think we start the bracketology, first in, first out, and then the net, which is around December? You think we start all that too soon? And then I know we may not on this show, on our show, because of the football monster, but it's certainly from Super Bowl is played on Sunday. From about that Wednesday on, we're very bracketology, net, a little self-examination. Do you think too much, about right?
I mean,
maybe more?
I mean, at the end of the day, especially these bracketologists, you look at Joe Lunardi and Jerry Palm. I mean, that's what people want to see. Brett, we always talk about when it's around that time. We love brackets, and so people want to see that. But, I think it all is constantly changing, and so I think, certainly look at it. But, I think you need to look back to just focusing on that next opponent and trying to get better over the season, because, I mean, you get caught up on, preseason, they're a, 4 seed or a 3 seed, and then you go out there and it's not what you expected. And so, yeah, maybe a little too early, but, I think there's certainly that big market for it.
Yeah, but in here for us, for content, we play the hand that's dealt.
Sure.
Time of year.
Sure.
Sport right now, and a couple are. I think you can always talk Tiger basketball. Mostly always can talk Grizzlies. Yeah. Always can talk SEC and Tiger and college football. NFL always germane. We're going to get into golf season.
Sure.
We're not talking golf in the middle of December, and there's a reason for that.
Right? Yeah, it's coming up soon though. I mean, you've been hinting at golf picks for a couple days now.
Have you looked at the official OWGR lately?
Brett, I have not. No, I need to get on it. I need to start putting together my list of go-to guys. I got in trouble a couple years ago for having 1 or 2 guys that I would always go to, and people would say you can't just pick that person every single time because you like them.
Well, of course you can.
Yes, you can.
And with that, college football news today, and really it's not any news. Here's the SEC scheduling news. Everybody you're playing this year at home, you go there next year, and everybody you're visiting comes sees you next year.
Yeah, how about that? So they got that out there before the
8 games.
NCAA tournament started. 8 games, I guess, is certainly significant with all of the
I want 9. I want 10.
Yeah, and so it sounds
I
like
want 10 league games. Never happening.
Do you think
won't happen when we're at 24 teams?
When do you think they go to 9?
Since I've missed on this since the A&M the Texas OU news summer of 21. Is that right? Was that when that broke?
I believe so.
Or 22?
21 or 22.
One of those two. Since I've missed on it every year since then. After this next time.
Yes.
But I'm ready for it. I want it. The marketplace is begging for it.
Sure.
Nobody wants to go see Furman.
Right.
Nobody wants to go see Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I think we're close
Nobody
to
wants
it.
to see Liberty.
No, but I think we're close to it. Certainly with the way everything else has been changing, I think, it feels like it's coming soon. But like you said, it feels like we would have been there by now. And
my
we're still
10
not there.
my 10 game SEC schedule of my dreams is 10. And then, especially when we get up to the 20s, then the 11th game not be a conference game, but against somebody you don't see all the time. Like if it's Tennessee and North Carolina, when North Carolina comes in. Then that 12th game, somebody from your neighborhood, Ole Miss, Memphis, Ole Miss, Southern Miss, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, Memphis, Ole Miss, Arkansas State. Arkansas play Arkansas State. Arkansas and Tulsa. So somebody in the neighborhood, somebody that they are. When you return the game, you can get the car, and 4 to 5 hours gets it, and tank and a half, 2 tanks of gasoline gets it.
Yeah, no, that'd be fun. I would love that. And so, maybe we're getting closer to the 9 games, but, that's certainly that news today, 8 games for 2025. So we know it certainly won't come this year, won't come next year. Maybe after that, we will see that 9-game conference schedule. We mentioned the first 4 games last night. The 2 of them, Wagner and Howard, started the night. I thought a really fun game. Wagner gets up big. They had only 7 players available, had a lot of guys in foul trouble, and Howard goes on a big run late to try to come back and win it. Fell just short. Talked a lot about Colorado State, Virginia. Kind of a pretty ugly performance by Virginia. Only 14 points in the first half. Final 2 games tonight, Grambling and Montana State for the 16 seed in the Midwest region. We'll start about 5:40. That should be a fun game. And then Colorado and Boise State later tonight. A Colorado team that I believe was top 15 preseason, kind of had an up-and-down season. Boise State, a lot of people wondering how they slid down to the first 4 game after a really good 22-10 season. So it should be 2 really fun games tonight in the first 4. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Blake Lovell will join us from the Southeastern 14, talk some college basketball, talk the SEC, the teams that have made the tournament, what we should expect from them over these next couple of days, and who really could go on a run here in March. 3:45, we'll talk Grizzlies. They're back in action tonight. The late night game on ESPN against the Warriors, 9 o'clock tip. So depending on how that first 4 game is going, it'd be easy to flip over to ESPN and catch the Grizzlies game. 4 o'clock, we usually talk to him on Fridays, but Jason Munz is going to join us today. We're out early on Friday. We're out at 5 o'clock for Ole Miss and Tennessee baseball, which is usually when we talk to Jason. So Jason, kind enough to join us today at 4 o'clock, Tiger basketball beat writer. A lot to talk about with him, the end of the season, and also what this offseason looks like for Penny Hardaway and that team. As always, Jason Munz presented by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. 4:30, we did the left side of the bracket yesterday. We'll get to the right side of our bracket, also our national champions at 4:30. We'll go through the bracket. 4:45, we get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Kevin Sweeney will join us to talk college basketball. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. Head out to Family Leisure. Right now, they've got factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure and check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season will be here before we know it. Buy now and get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Also, special financing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool table, and outdoor kitchens. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Johnny Hill. We're Sportstime, and we're with you until 6 o'clock today. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and phone line. All our guests will also appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and special leasing options. Drive-in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. The one and only Lexus dealership in town. You can call them at 901-334-9673. Drive-in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the news that Kevin McCullough, the leading scorer for the Kansas Jayhawks. Not only will he miss the first game against Samford, he's going to miss the entire NCAA tournament. A huge blow for this Kansas team. He's missed a handful of games lately because of injury. He did play a couple games through the conference before the conference tournament. That game against Houston, played about 15 minutes, 29 minutes against Kansas State. So has been out there, but has been hampered with an injury for a lot of the conference slate. Now, we knew he was going to be sat out during the conference tournament no matter how far they got. They only played one game against Cincinnati and lost. Him alongside Hunter Dickinson did not play in those games. But Bill Self said at the time, we are just sitting these guys for precautionary reasons. Both of them will be ready to go in the NCAA tournament. Last night, when speaking to some media members, he said that he wasn't going to be ready to go for this weekend. And then when asked about it further, or I guess he said he wasn't ready, he won't be ready to go. And when someone asked about what happens after you get past that first game, past this first weekend, he said, oh, no. He's not just going to miss this weekend. He's going to miss the entire NCAA tournament. And from what I saw, it did not sound like Bill Self was very happy with the fact that Kevin McCullough was going to miss. Some of his wording, he said, he says that it doesn't feel good. He says he can't go. He says that, it isn't going as well as he thought it would. Some of the language in there kind of felt to me like maybe the medical team said, hey, you can go if you want to go. And he said, coach, I don't think I can go on this, and especially tournament time. I don't think Bill Self is very happy about that.
And I bet he's not, Bryant, but at the end of it, those players have that right because even to this point, hadn't Kevin McCullough's done enough for the Kansas Jayhawks brand and program?
Sure.
He might owe his teammates, but to Bill Self and them, if he doesn't feel like playing, that's his business.
Yep.
And we're going to see more and more of it. It's going to be aggravating when it hits your team, or my team, our teams. But that's where we are in college sports. Even in the pros, you can't make them go in there. Then if they did and they got hurt, it would be on you. Top story for me, Tony Bennett and UVA, they had offensive problems again last night. Just a grind to watch for them to try to score. But all the hot takery today of why they didn't deserve to be in, I somewhat reject. I do reject. A team will lose tonight in Dayton. And tomorrow there are going to be plenty of teams lose. Are we supposed to immediately impeach all of them? I know there's always one lined up that feels like it would be a better choice. Do we know they would have been that much better? Maybe, probably. I know getting over 14 is not a high bar to clear. But how about this for Virginia? Just ask yourself if you would take this. In their last 4 NCAA tournaments, they've lost. They've had 3 first game exits. Yeah. Last night was first game. First game exits, and they won a title in there. Would you trade for that?
Oh, absolutely.
In a second.
Yeah, you got a national championship in there, I'd trade for it.
In a second. You have banner, parade, trophy.
Yep.
You can go out in the first round for a long time. And I'm about at the end of in Mo I Trust. I said after 2011, if they never won it again in my life, that's enough. Well, they're challenging it. Yeah, no, the Cardinals are.
You're right about that.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it's got to be what we saw last night and what we could see tonight in these first 4 games. Wagner and Howard was an exhilarating game. I mean, that game was awesome. I mentioned it earlier. Wagner
fair fight, too.
It was. Wagner comes in with only 7 healthy players. Howard, who has lived and died with their 3-point shot, just could not get anything to fall. They trailed by, big, down the stretch even, by 15, 17 points late in the second half, but they start chipping away. Here comes the comeback, and had 3 opportunities before the final buzzer to knock down a 3 to tie the game, but just couldn't get anything to fall. A really fun fighting. Good for Wagner. Now they'll turn around and go see North Carolina, which will be a tough game. Virginia, everybody's been talking about today, 14 points in the first half for Virginia. Colorado State. Colorado State had a great second half. I thought first half wasn't great by them either. 27-14 was your score at halftime. It's kind of ugly. Got a little bit better for Colorado State. I'm excited for tonight. Grambling versus Montana State is really setting up for, I think, going to be a really good game. Montana State, 41.4% of their shots are from 3, so this is going to be a team that's going to try to light it up from deep and beat you that way. Grambling really likes to slow it down, work the offense, get a high-quality shot. And then that first game, Boise State and Colorado. Colorado's really been up and down this year. The few times I saw them earlier in the season, everyone was talking about this offense is great. And it seemed like every time I turned them on, they had a poor offensive outing. But they do have the players out there. They showed it in a lot of games this season. But Boise State, a lot of people wondering, how did they end up in a play-in game, in a first four game? And so they have a shot tonight to prove it, and would be another Mountain West team with a win, and that would certainly be big for their case when everyone has said they were undervalued by the committee.
And the Memphis Tigers next year, we know, will go to Charlottesville to play Virginia. We know they'll go to Clemson to play the Clemson Tigers, who are in Memphis, are getting here sometime today. My not top story, the battle is on between the SEC and the Big Ten, both coveting North Carolina, not Clemson or FSU. I think the Big Ten would eventually take either one of those. I don't think the SEC will take either ever. The Big Ten would, they want to reach into the South, but the battle is on for North Carolina, and there's a lot of good reasons for it. Academics still matters to the academicians, and basketball still matters too.
That's right. It certainly does. It certainly does. Well, I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we're talking SEC with Blake Lovell.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. Add in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
Napa Cafe celebrates 26 years in 2024. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finish with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes, or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. We can't wait to serve you.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the all-new Vokey SM10 wedges. Made for lower flight, improved feel, and maximum spin. Unlock your ultimate wedge. Play with the new Vokey SM10 wedges. Visit us in store at Edwin Watts Golf Shops or online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
If you own a business, you know Luttrell Belting keeps you moving. Luttrell has cost-effective belts, conveyor components, and 24/7 on-site service to keep you operating smoothly. Text or just a phone call away at 800-441-8946 or online at LuttrellBelting.com. Luttrell's Memphis plant stocks belting in nearly every size and finish, and if they don't have it, they'll make it. From ordering to selection, fabrication, and installation, your Luttrell sales rep is there for you. Luttrell Belting keeps you moving.
Where are my basketball fans at? Present! Welcome to Fandom 101. The madness is upon us. When the biggest ballers in the land take the court, we need you loud, proud, and live cheering them on. The NCAA Division I men's basketball first and second rounds, March 22nd and 24th in Memphis. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVP tickets. Class dismissed.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Trying to clear up a couple of earlier accidents out here. It remains a little bit busy on 40 westbound as you come past Germantown Parkway all the way up to Witten Road. Still not bad right now through the Midtown area on 240. Of course, they continue to work on 55 out here on the bridge for a few more days. Again, it puts a little bit more pressure with traffic there on I-40 across the bridge coming in and out of the West Memphis area. Weimer's Jewelry, located at 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and joining us now from the Southeastern 14, Blake Lovell joins us to talk the SEC, joins us on our Sissy's Log Cabin phone line. Blake, thanks so much for joining us. I know we want to get into a lot of these teams that made the NCAA tournament, but I want to go back to the SEC tournament first. It was a wild day in the quarterfinals where three of the top four seeds lose in their first game, and Auburn ultimately wins the whole thing. What was your biggest takeaway from last week in Nashville?
Yeah, guys, I think my biggest takeaway was I clearly watched the SEC tournament. I don't think the NCAA tournament committee did, because it clearly did not matter a single bit other than the fact that A&M played their way in. But, no, it was, I mean, look, it's conference tournament season. We've always said you got teams that, what do you have to play for? A&M had something to play for. Mississippi State had something to play for. I wasn't completely shocked that they would knock off Tennessee and Kentucky the way they did, because they had already beaten them this season. And then, you know, we kind of said all year, Auburn's kind of, if it's not Tennessee, Auburn's the most complete team out there in the SEC, and they used that to kind of make their run. You know, Florida made a nice run, I thought, which, again, was probably not surprising. They played as well as anybody over the past month and a half or so. And so, yeah, you just kind of saw a lot of really good teams, I think, play, and obviously some disappointing performances. But, yeah, it was one where Auburn looks really good now heading into this wild bracket of death, I guess, in the East. So,
and Blake, we got a lot of Blake Lovell. Great TV time for you right behind the setup. You're right by David Cobb from CBS Sports.
You know, I don't know why they keep putting us there, but apparently they want us on screen for some reason. But yeah,
good real estate
right there behind us now. So that's been our spot the past 2 years. So yeah.
Good TV time for you. You can follow Blake on Twitter at the Blake Lovell as well. And today I love you did my prep for me for this show, Blake, and I sure appreciate it. Here's your tweet after studying all the SEC NCAA tournament matchups. Here are the tiers I put them in. Fire away on the tiers you put them in and why.
Well, I mean, again, I did the three tiers. I said love it, like it, and a little bit more nervous than I thought I would be. The love it, I think there's really only one, I would say. And look, I don't think it's surprising I would say this, but, you know, people, as soon as they heard St. Peter's, I know Kentucky fans had flashbacks, but Tennessee fans should not be as worried as maybe about looking back at St. Peter's and thinking that's exactly what's going to happen to them, because it's just a completely different team. And, you know, when you study the numbers, this team is much lower in all of the statistical categories than the team was that year that made the run. Also, they're not even, I mean, they're one of the least experienced teams in the tournament. And so I think that's something you have to keep in mind. So it's just completely different. I really like the matchup for Tennessee. And, well, Tennessee's got a little extra rest, don't they, after what happened in the SEC tournament. So I don't think that's the worst thing for them. So that's the only team I have in the love it tier. And then I have like it. So these are actually what I think are pretty decent draws the more you look at them. That's Auburn against Yale, Alabama against Charleston, which I know people feel like is a trendy kind of underdog pick. But in all honesty, I think the more you study it, the teams Alabama struggled against were teams that were kind of like them. They played great offense, which Charleston does. But those teams also were like all ranked in like the top 15 or 20 offensively nationally in power-type conferences. Charleston's like top 60, but, you know, they don't play in a power conference, so it's really hard to kind of equate that. But listen, if Alabama doesn't play defense, they can lose to anybody. And then, you know, I also have the Texas A&M Mississippi State 8-9 matchups that they have with Michigan State and Nebraska, respectively. I think those are kind of the styles that those two teams want. I think A&M is going to completely obliterate Nebraska on the boards. Nebraska does not rebound at all. A&M is one of the best rebounding teams in the country. And Mississippi State, I mean, I think they're just going to play bully ball with Michigan State. It's exactly the kind of style I think they want, very physical and all that. And so I like those matchups for those four teams. And then, of course, Brett, we're going to get to the ones that are not real popular for me right now because Kentucky fans are trying to figure out what I'm thinking with Oakland and why I put this in the nervous category. Because Oakland, to me, is the kind of team that if you really keep looking at them, they have the coach who's very experienced. They have a team who is very experienced. They have a big man in Trey Townsend who is fantastic. And they have three players on that team that are key rotation players that play a lot of minutes who have, in this era, it's unthinkable. But they have three guys who've been there 4 more years in the program. And so they got the chemistry. They play together. And they have a guy who can shoot the three really, really well and shoots a lot of them. And so you got a good big man. You got a guy who can get hot from three. And you got a Kentucky team that I don't care how many times people want to tell me that Kentucky's getting better defensively. Look at how many points they've given up in their last 6 games. They have given up a gazillion points, a lot of them. They've won some of those games, but they've given up a lot too. So that's what worries me a little bit about Oakland. The more I study them, Kentucky could easily come out, get red hot, win this game convincingly. But I just would not want to overlook a team that looks like they fit the bill of a team that can make noise. And then, guys, South Carolina. Oh, I have doubted South Carolina most of the year until they started winning some games. Then I got on their side. But now I just do not like this matchup with Oregon.
No.
Dana Altman's like the against the spread king. I think he's like the second winningest coach, minimum like 10 games. When you look at percentages and that kind of stuff in the tournament. And I just don't like it because they got a dominant big man. And what has South Carolina struggled with this year? Kind of like Tennessee. Teams that have a dominant big man. Janai Broome just completely took it to them in the 2 games in the regular season for Auburn. Now they got to play, you know, another guy who could do just that in Oregon. So, yeah, that's kind of the tiers that I break them down in looking at it.
That is an excellent breakdown. And for Kentucky, at the 4-minute mark, the media timeout with 4 minutes to play, wherever that falls, as soon as it goes up 4 or less, they stop play. If that game is 2 or 3 points, plus or minus 2 or 3 either direction, that entire building will turn on Kentucky. They'll be the biggest Golden Grizzlies fans you can imagine. And if John Calipari loses that one, they're not going to fire him. I don't think – I mean, I know Kentucky can afford it, but I know they don't want to. Next year sets up for him to have receptions at Rupp Arena like he can't imagine.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like that. You know, we can never kind of predict these kind of games because it's like people can tell me that a team doesn't play a certain schedule and all this, and we can all also say that Kentucky's as talented, is as good of a team as he's had there, and I don't disagree with a lot of that kind of stuff. But the fact is, you have to use like some of the historical kind of trends here, and the teams we always talk about that are kind of in this spot where I'll be honest, like even as a 3 seed. I've been surprised how many people are picking Kentucky, like to make the Final Four and or win the national championship. Because I wonder if this is just people who are not watching them regularly, because if you watch them regularly, again, like you look at the points, they've won some of these games. They gave up 95, 89, 102, 77, 81, 97. That's their last 6 games. And now they've scored 90-plus in like 4 of those games. But the thing is, like you just said, Brett, you're in the NCAA tournament now. And John Calipari actually said something a month back or so, or something like that. He's like, we don't have to worry about necessarily. He didn't say we don't have to worry about defense, but he said we'll be fine because we'll be able to score. You're not going to play NCAA tournament games like in the 60s or something like that. I don't think that's going to be the case here either, but I'm just saying, you're playing an Oakland team that when you look on the other side, they've only lost 3 games since December the 28th, and they have guys who can score and can play basketball. And I would have probably liked Kentucky against any of the other 14 seeds and not thought twice about it. But this is one that I feel like you have to at least look a little further into because, I don't know, there's just something about this one. We'll see if it happens, but we always try to find those every single year. So.
Looking at one of the matchups you have in the like it category, Mississippi State and Michigan State. It will get us started tomorrow. I know a lot of people anticipated it. A lot of people I talked to ready to gamble on it because, as you know, Blake, if you don't gamble on the first game, you can't gamble on all of the games. And so I've heard a lot of people talk about that. I think Michigan State, maybe even a 1.5 point favorite, but like you said,
less than 20 hours.
Yeah. Oh, how about that? I love that. But, Mississippi State has played well, especially in the conference tournament, in those games that they had to win. LSU knocked off Tennessee, played really well against Auburn before losing. But I think some people are going back to that stint at the end of the regular season. Lost Kentucky, lost to Auburn, lost to A&M, lost to South Carolina. But on the other side, Michigan State has been really up and down this season. What do you think what do you see as the way Mississippi State has to play to beat Tom Izzo and this Michigan State team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of one where, they've obviously got to stick to their strengths. And I think what helps now this year is that you've got a Mississippi State team that at least has a threat on the outside. And I mean, Josh Hubbard has just been good enough to where he at least forces you to not just say, I'm going to pack it in against you and you're going to have to beat us from 3. Because last year, if you did that, they had no shot. But this year, you have to respect what Josh Hubbard's done. You've had a couple other guys who can actually make a couple threes. But I think it's going to keep going down to the same thing here, where you've got 2 teams in this kind of matchup where the one thing that would worry me about Mississippi State is like the turnover issue. Michigan State, very physical defensively. They're a top 10 defensive team. They're going to force some turnovers. So I think valuing the ball is important for Mississippi State. But the thing is, too, I think this is the kind of game all year long, to me, where Mississippi State wants this kind of style. But they don't want a team like Alabama, right? They don't necessarily want a team like that because how did they fare this year against Alabama, Florida, Mississippi State? They struggled against all those, or not Mississippi State, Kentucky. They struggled against all those teams because those were up-tempo type teams. They got up and down the floor and forced them to get up and down the floor and start taking a bunch of jump shots. They're not going to have to do that against Michigan State. And I think that's really going to help them kind of be able to say, all right, this is a game that's going to be played in the 60s probably, maybe low 70s. And I think that's exactly what Mississippi State wants. So I like the matchup. I think that they'll be physical. I think Cam Matthews will once again kind of do his thing, be the Swiss Army knife out there just doing everything. But I also will tell you that I think whoever wins this game, I think has a great chance to beat North Carolina in the second round. And I like the matchup for either one of them, in all honesty. So.
That is bold. I love it. Blake Lovell, our guest. Blake, who do you think has more pressure on him? They all are feeling it, every single one of them. Down, Lamont Paris even, with the first bid for South Carolina, but more some than others. Who has the most? Bruce Pearl? Rick Barnes or John Calipari?
So funny you asked this, Brett. I literally got asked this question 10 minutes ago, and somebody else I was talking to, and I was like, I don't. It's the first time I heard it, this kind of go around, but I'm like, man, that is probably one of the best questions you could ask out there, based on looking at where these 2 teams are at and understanding that, what the expectation is now. I think John Calipari has more pressure than Rick Barnes, because here's why. I think because people at this point, fair or unfair, have just kind of thrown their arms up with Rick Barnes and don't have the expectation that they're going to make a run. I think Tennessee fans are kind of defeated in a sense. They're just like, you know what? He's not going to get us there. And yet we'll still be supporting them. They're still going to win 25 games a year in the regular season and so forth or whatever. But I think this is the team all year long for Kentucky. There have been ups and there have been downs. And Cal himself has said he's never wavered from this. He's never wavered from the fact that he's like, I really like this team. And
we're a March team.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep, we're a March team. We're going to be just fine. And Kentucky fans they're into that, right? They're like, okay, He's saying we're going to be okay. Our defense has been a problem, but we're going to be okay. He likes his team. They'll be fine. They'll go outscore people. Well, he just lost Texas A&M in the SEC tournament. He gave up 97 to a team that, for whatever reason, I don't think is a great offensive team.
But that part of March didn't count, Blake.
Right, that one doesn't count, right? But I think there's more pressure on Cal here because I'll just be honest. I don't think they have an easy path to the Final Four, but I like Kentucky's path way more, despite everything I said about Oakland. I like Kentucky's path way more than I like Tennessee's because I think Tennessee, the issue is they're going to run into their Achilles heel, and that is a team with good big men. Creighton has one. Purdue has one. If those are the matchups, I don't like it for Tennessee to get to the Final Four.
Blake, here's a better way. Maybe you can do it on your next pod with your co-host. Maybe a better way to ask it. Which one between Cal and Barnes least wants to see that text from their AD, hey, you need to see you at the office? Because neither are being fired, but which one just, man, I got to go over and explain this to him. Good Lord. You know, which one least wants to see that text of, hey, I need to see you today?
I think it's probably still Cal.
I do too.
I think it's absolutely Cal.
And if it got too testy, he could say, Mitch, cut me my check, and you don't have to look at me again.
Well, and think about it too, right? It's like Tennessee won the regular season title. Whether it means anything or not, Kentucky did not win the regular season title. And it's been a while since that's even happened in the SEC. And this is a team that wants to win a national title every year. And so at least Tennessee has that going for them. Fans aren't going to care if they lose in the second round, but at least they did win the SEC championship in a year where the SEC's probably been as strong as it's been, in many years right now. So.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. Obviously, the first 4 games tonight, but tomorrow when we really kick this off and see all these teams, most of these teams in action, will be a lot of fun. Blake, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
That was great, guys. One guy to keep an eye on real quickly, Jack Golke from Oakland. This guy has taken four two-pointers all year, 8 3-2-pointers all year. He's taking 125 3-pointers. My kind of shooter, just like you guys.
Thank you, Blake.
I love it. Thanks, Blake.
Enjoy the games, Blake. Thank you.
Yeah.
Blake Lovell with us every week talking college basketball in the SEC. You've liked that guy all year for Oakland, Brian. You've talked about it.
It's a crazy story. I mean, it's unbelievable. He just does not shoot twos. He just only takes threes.
He doesn't like a layup.
No. If it's not a three-pointer, he doesn't like it.
Remind me at 5:30 for us to get back into the pressure on Barnes, Cal, etc. Look, it's always barbecue madness around here, and in the middle of the bracket, always in the finals, it's the commissary with the 2 great locations like the Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. You can get out to Houston, Levy, and Poplar tomorrow and just stretch out. Got a little more room than Germantown. You can do it at Germantown as well, but you got a lot more room, perfect for a big group to get their group together and watch teams, or if you got a kind of a bracket grouping or a contest going on, get out there about 11 and stay till the end of the night and enjoy that Memphis-style barbecue and ribs done the authentic Memphis-style slow-cooked way. If you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. They'll bring it right out to you. You can go back home and enjoy it at home and with your friends and watching on your big screen. And for Easter coming up, and next Thursday the 28th is the deadline. Let the commissary handle everything for you at Easter. I know it's kind of a real busy morning for the person that's doing the food, to get everybody up and dressed and to church and back and get the food right. Let the commissary take care of it. Take that hassle out. They'll do it. The ribs, the shoulder, also good, chopped or pulled on a plate, on a sandwich, the sides, the beans, the slaw, the deviled eggs, the bread, and you can order it by the 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. Here's the number, 901-754-5540. Order that, pick up for Easter there, pick up for all the basketball, or go online at commissarybbq.com. In Collierville, in Germantown, the party areas, the orders to go, catering, tailgating, any time of year. It's commissary time of year. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Let's go ahead and get to a break. We've talked a lot of college basketball today, but the Grizzlies, they're back in action tonight in the ESPN game against the Warriors. We'll talk about that next.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM. And 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at LawnSolutionsInc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Where are my basketball fans at?
Present!
Welcome to Fandom 101. The madness is upon us. When the biggest ballers in the land take the court, we need you loud, proud, and live cheering them on. The NCAA Division I men's basketball first and second rounds, March 22nd and 24th in Memphis. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVP tickets. Class dismissed.
Hi, folks. The Chevy Sheriff with good news for car and truck buyers. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has acres of new Chevys and GM certified in stock, ready for immediate delivery. A $6 million used car inventory and cars and trucks for every budget, and a lot specializing in cars and trucks under $99.95. If you've been turned down by another dealer, see us at Sunrise. We specialize in financing, and SunriseMemphis.com is home of guaranteed credit approval. Cars and trucks may not be free, but at least they're affordable at Sunrise. Together, let's drive to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville.
Are you aware? It's patio season. Family Leisure sure is. That's why they have factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and even, yes, patio furniture. Yes, sir, it's indeed patio season. So come by Family Leisure and check out all the brand new 2024 patio furniture sets. And with patio season here, you know that pool season will be here before you even know it. So buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Plus, you could save $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even up to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Family Leisure has got special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and even outdoor kitchens. I love it when it's patio season because of all the fantastic deals that Family Leisure makes available just for you. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Your chance to get that rare, hard-to-find luxury timepiece is here at Genesis Diamonds. Hi, this is Devir Vanunu, Vice President at Genesis. I want to make sure your Rolex dream come true. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Genesis is hosting an epic pre-owned luxury Rolex event, featuring a stunning new selection of these hard-to-find watches. Hulks, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batmans, all the hottest models that people wait years for. These are carefully chosen timepieces in pristine condition. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and zero-interest financing. And listen to this, with the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings for free. That's a $4,000 value. Also, for this event, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site, offering top dollar for your Rolex. So I invite you to join us this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds, your home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes. We're at Popular and Perkins Extended. I can't wait to meet you.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
So the Grizzlies, they're back in action tonight, 9 o'clock on ESPN on the road against the Warriors. We know what the season has been for the Grizzlies, 23-46 on the year. The Warriors, they're right there, the last spot in the play-in game, 35-32 overall. So they need to keep winning to stay in that play-in conversation. The Rockets, 2.5 games back from them right now for that play-in spot. But it should be a fun game. Hopefully we see a similar game like we did against Sacramento where Grizzlies are really, really competitive and then maybe, just kind of fall off in those last couple of minutes.
You're right. How the basketball schedule could unfold tonight. Yeah. We take it right up to Thursday, right. and be about 8 hours shy of about 11 hours shy of first tip of Mississippi State, Michigan State. If I set the over and under at 4.5 for the rest of the year, Grizzlies wins. Would you go over or under?
Oh, how many games?
4.5. Grizzlies are at 23 up, 46 down, 13 remaining. 4.5.
I am going to go, oh my goodness, under.
I'm under too.
Wow, that's crazy. But
this is the odd feeling. I want to go under.
I mean, it's been one of those years, Brian.
And I don't like that.
No.
Tell you what we're going to do, Bryant. This time next year, we're not going to beat a dead horse about it. But this time next year, when the Grizzlies are rolling and any blessing of good health, they will be. Mm-hmm. I think on the way to 50, 51, 52 win season. That's what we're used to with this group. And never got the real addition of Marcus Smart. We're going to remember this point from last year and in the years ahead. I think too often, sports, all of us, we're not grateful enough. When we get back in it, I don't need anybody need to tell us, you Grizzlies fans need to act like you've been here before. Yeah. No. Let me tell you what we can act like we did. We went through utter hell in 23 and 24.
Well, we got the news earlier this morning that the Grizzlies just signed their 29th player.
That's the utter hell I'm talking about.
And if he plays and scores, that would be a franchise record of number of players that have scored for the Grizzlies in a season, 29 players.
What'd you throw big number on me an hour ahead of time, Johnny? I didn't get the loop or anything. I didn't hear you.
Early,
What's going on, Johnny?
I don't know, man.
Maybe that means my big number is going to be even better. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
You hear this?
Forever, Major League Baseball roster is 25. Now it's kind of 26, 27. Yeah. Grizzlies at 29 players in basketball.
It's insane.
I mean, it's getting closer to the NFL 53-man roster.
It is, and
that's crazy.
I would be shocked if we don't see 30 by the end of the season. But it's not an easy schedule down the stretch. But should be fun tonight on ESPN when the Grizzlies and the Warriors face off. And you mentioned it. I said it earlier. I mean, the way these break down, you could get home tonight, watch Montana State Grambling. And then watch Virginia and Boise State and Colorado, and depending on how that goes, just switch back over to ESPN and be there for the Grizzlies game.
I'm gonna watch the local guys. I'm gonna watch Rob their own tonight
too.
That's
right, yeah, that's true. With it being an ESPN game, so yeah, definitely, I'll definitely be watching the local guys. But yeah, it should be fun late tonight though, a late night game. But let's go ahead and get to a break. Wrap up our first hour. When we come back, we're talking Tigers with Jason Munns.
Where are my basketball fans at?
Present!
Welcome to Fandom 101. The madness is upon us. When the biggest ballers in the land take the court, we need you loud, proud, and live cheering them on. The NCAA Division I men's basketball first and second rounds, March 22nd and 24th in Memphis. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVP tickets. Class dismissed.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseburgers.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo on Saturday, March 30th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We will take applications, perform basic testing, and interview candidates on site. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
The 75th anniversary sales event is on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, and we've got Rockin' Ronnie Smith ready to put you in your new V-Dub today.
That's right, Randy. 3's your lucky number. 2024 Taos S, or a 2024 Tiguan S, or a 2024 Jetta Sport. Your choice. $275.96 per month.
Plus, Gossett Volkswagen Germantown's got 2024 Atlas Cross Sport, $33,999. Plus 1.9 for 60 months on all Atlas and Atlas Cross Sports, and 0 for 60 months on 24 Tiguans. But only at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
Come see me, Rockin' Ronnie Smith, and let me put you in your new V-Dub today.
Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or online, GossettVWG.com.
All 36-month lease, 7,500 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Do not combine APR offer with 3,000 customer cash rebate. House RMO 53314, MSRP 26063, Tiguan RM 003120, MSRP 30,026, Jetta RMO 48802, MSRP 25506, Cross RC 23156, MSRP 38998. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South sports station.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon, and yes, they're still over here working 55 on the bridge. That has created a little bit more traffic for this time of the afternoon, trying to get through Midtown. It's already starting to pick up on 240 southbound over here at South Parkway, all the way down to Norris. Still positive right now, outbound on Sam Cooper, getting on that ramp there to I-40. A little bit of radar down in DeSoto County this afternoon, south of Memphis, down 55. Be careful. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. Yes, it's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal on the Tiger basketball beat. He's been with us all year, usually on Fridays at 5 o'clock. He'll join us next Friday for the final visit for this year, unless news breaks over the summer, and we'll try to grab him off summer vacation for that. He'll join us next Friday, but we're out early Friday, so he was so kind to join us today. He's been brought to you all year, presented by Jim's Place Grill. Over 100 years of charcoal grill steaks, over 100 years of celebrations, family time, and lasting memories. I was there on Monday night, and the tournament's already started there. You could feel the electricity in the bar area, and with everybody looking forward to this week and people in from out of town to enjoy the games, the Terrace family with their touch for our community. They know our community. Recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown to now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Online at jimsplacegrill.com. Don't forget the Ian Grill. Every steak served perfectly over an open flame. Come to Jim's Place and taste and see and feel the difference. Lunch hours Monday through Friday, 11 a to 2 p.m. Dinner hours Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Since 1921, a Memphis landmark. Hard work, values, and a dedication to their diners, to their friends, the Terrace family. They've created a memorable, lasting dining experience. Lunch menu like the staples like the souffle ma, the shrimp cocktail, crab cakes, and the salad dressings, all homemade. And at dinner, the soups, the seafood, the calamari, and the steaks, fillets, ribeyes, and strips. The great bar area to enjoy all the good times that we have, all at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. Jason Munns, last Friday we could have had you at the regular time, and we didn't want you at the regular time. We wanted you to stay down there, but the Tigers, they dropped that game on Thursday, and the recrimination has been heavy, Jason.
Hang on, you were at Jim's Place Monday night?
I was at Jim's Place Monday night. I promise you, I was there until about 8:30. When I left
Place Monday night.
Well, Jason, I was in the bar. You know, the guy that doesn't drink taking up a primo spot at the bar. I'm that guy.
It sounds like you were there a little bit later than I was, but wow, that threw me for a loop there.
I can tell you exactly what I had. I had the shrimp cocktail, just like I say in the advertisement, and then I got the strips, the strip steak that I didn't even know was on the menu until January, and I saw part of the waitstaff go by with it. I go, "Where's that on the menu?" And they pointed it to me. I said, I never found it. I've been eating there all my life.
That's so funny. Well, yes, because it was such a short stay in Fort Worth, I treated myself and my wife to a ribeye.
Well, good, Jason.
And so, what a coincidence.
So you're reacquainting with your wife. Did you have to introduce yourself? You've been gone so much.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I actually.
And she can work some crazy hours too.
She can and does. And what's so funny is she was like in college and stuff in high school. She was a big professional wrestling fan. So. Like, she's been to a bunch of shows. She's been to Royal Rumble. She's been to all kinds of shows.
Wow.
She's never seen The Rock live.
Wow.
So when The Rock announced that he was coming to Memphis, her heart, she saw the date and her heart sank. She was like,
yeah, you're gone.
Because it was Friday night. I was going to be gone. Well, as it turned out, and she knows this, I would have much rather been working, but if I wasn't going to be able to work, there was nowhere else I'd rather be. So before we even walked out of the press conference, we had our tickets, and so yeah, we got to get reacquainted over some professional wrestling at FedEx Forum on Friday night. And then
if that ain't a love story, I've never heard one, Jason.
I know. It was a good weekend. It's
proof again. Out of every disaster comes some silver lining.
There you go. That is one more shining example.
And it was plenty ugly. Bryant and I were on the air as the clock struck zeros last Thursday, and I was stunned. It wasn't boosterism. It wasn't through Tiger glasses. I really thought they were going on the 4-day, and they didn't get close.
You could have told me before the game that Memphis was going to lose to Wichita State, and I would have believed you because of the way things have gone this season. Just when you think you know what to expect, or when you thought you knew what you could expect from this Tiger basketball team, it went the other direction. And so, yeah, you could have told me before tip-off. Even you could have told me at halftime they were, obviously they were going to lose, and I would have believed you. But when they came back and took the lead with 4 minutes to go or something like that, 3 minutes to go, whatever it was, there was no convincing me that they were going to lose that game. And then
that's what Dave said. Dave said in the building, you could feel that they had kind of wrested control.
Yep, and then again, not long after that, it did not take long for it to go back the other direction, and that's exactly what happened. And they walked off the floor for the final time as a team over there at Dickies Arena.
Well, you're obviously there, and Brett and I were talking about it during the game against Wichita State. I didn't really like their body language most of the afternoon, especially when they got down. Looked like they were just kind of out there, didn't really care. And that's kind of been what you've heard all season long is, do some of these guys actually want to be out there? Does this team like each other? A lot of that. What was the reaction of the players and of Penny Hardaway when the buzzers went off and it was zeros on the board and they kind of realized we just lost in the first round of this kind of stretch everyone's been talking about? You win 4 games in 4 days and you go to the NCAA tournament. What was that reaction like from the team and from Penny Hardaway when it was kind of that just hit them?
So this is how I wrote it in one of my stories that I wrote kind of in the 24, 48 hours after that. I've gotten used to games late in the season where there might be tears, there might be like some sign of passion, whether that is a little pushing and shoving, a little water bottle throwing, and there was none of that. Like, I didn't see any of that at all. Like, I saw a kind of like the best way I can think to describe it is stunned. But I don't think they were stunned. How could they be stunned?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, based on the way much of the past 2 months went. So I don't know how to describe it other than just numbness. Like there was no dramatic display of emotion at all. Even in the post game, Penny was very matter of fact. You could tell he was disappointed. You could tell the players were disappointed, but even the 2 players they brought to the press conference, David Jones and Naquan Tomlin, they just didn't seem like they wanted to be there. Like, you could hardly get, 3 words out of them during the 12 minutes that they sat there with us. I even asked a question, and I think I might have gotten, like, it took forever for which I forget which player it was, but it took what felt like forever for them to even muster up the initiative to say anything. And then when they did, it was like, I don't know. I think that was their response. So it just was, it just felt like by that point they were just numb to the whole thing.
Jason, what was your first year on the beat? It was not Coach Hardaway's first year, was it? It was second.
Right. It was second year, the one with Wiseman, the number one recruiting class, DJ Jeffries, Boogie, and all that.
All right. From the outside, just observing, and please set me straight, because I don't want to be outlandish. I do think Jeremiah Martin loved Coach Hardaway, and I know last year Kendrick Davis loved Coach Hardaway, and I know the East High School guys. Well, I know his sons do, Ashton and Jaden, and I think the East guys did. Tell me who else through the years you think just would jump on a hand grenade for Penny Hardaway that played for him?
I mean, you could make an argument for Precious Achiuwa, I think.
Okay, that's a good one. That ability, and he would run through a wall for you.
Yeah, I don't know that would have been. I don't know that he would have been someone I would have said that about during his time here. But by the time by the time it ended, I think he realized what. I think he came to he didn't want to play the five here at Memphis. Even after, even though he knew that he had to because James Wiseman was not here anymore, he still didn't want to. But I think by the time, it all played out, I think he understood what doing that, what him filling that role, what that did for his future. And so I think, again, it took a while for him to get there, but I think he got there. Good question. I mean, Alo, obviously, Alex Lomax. I want to say, honestly, I feel like David Jones might be the closest thing to that on this team. That's kind of,
And my point in asking, for sure, that's a good. And my point in asking that, it feels very aloof. Both parties, both sides of the relationship coin, and I think some of that is endemic to that superstar player. I just don't know that they can really. I don't think they can really understand what that 6.7 points a game, 2.2 rebounds a game guys really like.
Yes, I agree with you very much that, and I think Penny would even agree with you too, that there wasn't that balance. There wasn't that, you go out and you get a guy who either A, is a 15 to 20 points per game scorer, or B, thinks they should be a 15 to 20 points per game scorer. Yeah, I think probably Nicholas Jourdain was the closest thing he had to, a guy that would sort of balance things out. You could make a case for Caleb Mills, although I think at one point in his career he thought he should be a 15 to 20 points per game guy. But you lost him. You lost him in early January, so you didn't exactly have him. But yeah, there were not enough Elijah McCadden from who was on the team last year, who was, I think, a lot more valuable than
first year Mike Parks.
Yeah, Mike Parks. Guys who were willing to do the dirty work. I mean, even though we're talking. Going back to your other question, I thought of another one, Lester Quinones. I think he would absolutely run through a wall for Penny, but there just weren't enough guys like him. Even though Lester thought he should have been shooting the three a lot more and should have been involved on the offensive end a lot more than he was willing to get in and do the dirty work. And there weren't enough of those guys on this team. There was too many guys who who thought they should have been the spotlight guy, and I think everybody would agree on that now that it's over.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Jason Munns, he joins us talk Tiger basketball, the Tiger basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Well, one player has already entered the transfer portal for the Tigers, Jonathan Pierre, who came here from the D2 ranks after last season. Spends 1 year here, now back into the transfer portal. I know you spoke to him a couple nights ago when he announced, those announcements came out, that he was going to enter the transfer portal the next morning. Did you expect this, with him kind of came in and didn't see really any consistent playing time? Had a couple of nice games here and there. I think back to the Temple game where he came out, knocked down three-pointers, finished with like 10 points. Good game, but did you kind of expect this from Jonathan Pierre, that he would be a guy that would enter the transfer portal when the offseason hit?
Yeah. It was pretty obvious early on. And I mean, I'm talking about early on. I'm talking about probably post Dominican Republic, but pre-season. Wow. It was pretty clear that he was not. Memphis was not the right fit for him, and he was not the right fit for Memphis. It wasn't really about. I mean, it kind of was about him not getting the playing time he thought he deserved, but it wasn't really as much about that as it was. It just wasn't a match. It just didn't click. And I don't know how to describe it any better than that. But that's what happened there, and you knew it kind of pretty early on. That was not surprising. I mean, the stuff about him not playing as much, that if you are going to play for Penny Hardaway, you're going to have to be able to play defense. Mm-hmm. And if you aren't going to be able to play defense, you better be able to hit, 3-4 threes a game, something like that. Jonathan was given opportunities. It wasn't like he wasn't given opportunities. He had his opportunities to show what he could do, and he struggled on defense. He turned the ball over probably a little too much, and didn't hit outside shots as consistently as he needed to stay on the floor. So, it wasn't a surprise.
Jason, there are those losses that after they occur, it's just really never the same again for a coach. Football and basketball, near and far. For Larry Finch, after losing to Drexel in the opening round of the 1996 NCAA tournament, it was never the same with him and the Tiger fans. After Josh Pastner lost to Christian Brothers in the exhibition game, it changed everything forever. Jason, I fear the Rice game is it for Penny Hardaway. It will just never be the same after losing that game at FedEx Forum.
I think until proven otherwise, you're probably right. Like, I don't know that's. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if they come out next year and go down to Maui and kick some butt, or go 17-1 and win the league, and they beat Rice by 40 next year
with Josh Pastner as coach.
That's what I was saying, especially if Josh Pastner is on the sideline for the Owls. Then I could see where you sort of forget about that one, because let's be honest, they lost by 40 at Tulsa a few years ago, and while we do still talk about it, we're
over it.
We don't. Yeah, it's everybody's kind of moved on. So I could see a way out of that scenario that you painted a second ago. But if not, then you're right. Like, if it doesn't get better, if they don't rebound next year, then yes. Like, I think between that Rice loss, where Jonathan Pierre was in the starting lineup, if you recall, and what I want to say, I forget. There was some other questionable lineup combinations in that game. But like I said, if they don't rebound next year in a meaningful way, then you're going to point to that game and you're going to point to the South Florida game. I know that South Florida ended up winning the league, and I know that they ended up in the top 25, but that is not a game they should have lost, not by a long shot, at home with a 20-point lead in the second half. You're just not supposed to lose that game, and so I think those would be the two that you look back on. But especially because I think they occurred within 2.5 weeks of each other, something like that, maybe 3. You're going to look back at those two, but especially the Rice game, and you're going to say that very well, it was probably the beginning of the end.
Yeah, Jason. Last thing for you, real quick. We got to get out of here, but I got to ask you, where do you sit today on David Jones returning to the Tigers next year?
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. I got a mailbag coming out in the morning, and I'm going to say the exact same thing. I think there are better odds on him coming back to Memphis than a lot of people think there are. And that's not just based on what Penny Hardaway said a couple of weeks ago about 60-40, 70-30. That there are some other things that I've heard and things that are going on that make me think that it's certainly not a given. Like, he's going to test the NBA waters.
Sure.
And that, the deadline to withdraw is May 29th. So we may not know for a little while, but I think there's a decent shot at it for sure.
I love that, and I love a good mailbag. I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for that in the morning. But, Jason, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll speak to you again next Friday.
All right, cool. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Jason Munz, the Tiger basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. He joins us every single week, usually on Fridays during the basketball season. But this week, nice enough to join us earlier on a Wednesday. But as always, he's presented by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. Yesterday, we went through the left side of our bracket. Today, we'll do the right side, the South region and the Midwest region. We'll also crown our national champions. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. We've helped over 30,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. If your timeshare agreement goes on forever, if you were told timeshares are a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, you have questions, we have the answers. At Wesley Financial Group, we're dedicated to helping timeshare owners get out of their financial nightmare. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call now for your free timeshare exit information kit. Call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Where are my basketball fans at? Present! Welcome to Fandom 101. The madness is upon us. When the biggest ballers in the land take the court, we need you loud proud and live cheering them on. The NCAA Division I men's basketball first and second rounds, March 22nd and 24th in Memphis. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVP tickets. Class dismissed.
Join us celebrating 26 years of Napa Cafe. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad, or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, 39.85, MSRP 22,320. Sportage R7, 24,7640, MSRP 29,635. Telluride RG 49,9963, MSRP 41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Hey, it's my man Jeff Allen bringing sweet deals from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey, Randy, I've got a 2024 Kia Forte LXS that gets 41 MPG highway, and you can hit the road for just $219 a month.
That's awesome. What else you got?
2024 Kia Sportage LX, $289 a month. Both 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. Or go big in a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $429 a month. 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing.
Plus, get peace of mind with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
We're online 24/7, KiaMountMoriah.com.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It is still running slow, especially 40 East coming over from West Memphis across the Hernando de Soto Bridge because of the 55 bridge that's remaining closed. That's why it's a lot heavier than normal on 240 north and southbound here at South Parkway, especially southbound. That's starting to pick up coming out of Midtown. Again, they get this bridge back open on 55. That'll take a lot of pressure off a lot of these routes out here. It's starting to pick up now on 240 East from Mill Branch out to 385. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. Check out Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, we did the left side of the bracket yesterday. Brett's got his red marker and his tissues ready. I think a lot of people are going to have those ready.
Hey, Brett, I'm right
tomorrow.
with you, man.
You got to have them.
Have them ready. You know, it's a Brian. Look, everybody's bracket savvy. It's one thing I love is we are collectively bracket savvy. Everybody knows you can't go under a 12-4 day tomorrow and Friday. You really need to be around that 13-3 clip, and anything under 12-4 tomorrow, and because after that, the brackets as you move to the middle, it coalesces. Sure. You're not separating yourself next week. The time to separate is tomorrow and Friday.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So it's gonna be fun tomorrow, but we need to get through our right side of the bracket today. Who wants to start with the South region?
You.
All right, I'll start. We'll start with a game that will be played, I guess 2 games that will be played here in Memphis. I've got Houston over Longwood. I've got Nebraska over Texas A&M. I've got 5th-seeded Wisconsin over James Madison in the 12-5 matchup. I've got Duke over Vermont. I've got Texas Tech over NC State. I've got Kentucky over Oakland. I have Boise State winning tonight and beating Florida in that first game, so a 10 over a 7 there. I've got Marquette beating Western Kentucky.
All right, now here's the philosophical debate. Do you get Boise State and Colorado, or does Boise State have to come through, or it's an X?
I say if it's not Boise State, I get an X.
I do too, because I don't think you get the grouping like 1 and 1A at the track.
Yeah, I don't think so. I know, like, if you do like the online brackets, you get whatever team wins, because you don't pick the first 4 games. But how I'm playing
and I don't really care. I just want everybody to be on the same page.
No, I say for us, especially since I have Boise State winning in that first game.
Okay.
I say Boise State win tonight. That's an automatic X for me. In that game, and I'm completely fine with that. In the round of 32, starting at the top, I've got Houston over Nebraska. I've got Duke beating Wisconsin in the 4-5 matchup. I've got Kentucky beating Texas Tech in the 3-6, and I've got Marquette beating Boise State, so very chalky there. Sweet 16, I've got Houston defeating Duke, and I've got Kentucky beating the second-seeded Marquette to set up an Elite 8 matchup of Houston and Kentucky. And I have Houston advancing to the Final Four. So my first number 1 seed advancing to the Final Four.
And in his very first bracket, NCAA tournament bracket contest, we got Johnny kind of broken in last week and did pretty well on AAC and SEC. But in his first NCAA tournament bracket, Johnny, I'm going to say my first NCAA tournament bracket that I filled out, like out of the newspaper, probably would have been about 77 or 78 or so. And the first one for cash would have been about 1980.
How about that?
Well, Brett.
This is just for bragging rights.
Right. Yeah, this for bragging rights.
Fire away, Johnny.
Well, Brett, I came prepared. I brought a red Sharpie. I did bring my tissue, but I might need it after this.
I got plenty of tissue for all of us.
Hey, man. But I got in my South, I got Houston beating Longwood. Then I got Nebraska beating Texas A&M. I got James Madison beating Wisconsin. I got Duke beating Vermont. Then I got I got NC State beating Texas Tech, and I got Kentucky beating Oakland. And I got Florida beating Boise State. I picked Boise State to advance as well, but I picking Florida to beat Boise. Then I got Marquette to beat Western Kentucky, like Bryant. Then in the second round, I got Houston beating Nebraska. Then I got Duke beating James Madison. I got Kentucky beating NC State. Then I got Marquette beating Florida. Then in the Sweet 16, I got Houston beating Duke, and I got Kentucky beating Marquette. And in my Elite 8, I got Houston beating Kentucky.
Wow, so very similar between you and me.
Very similar with me. It's not complete copy and paste, but it's not a lot of changes. I have Houston over Longwood. Late Friday night downtown at FedEx Forum, I have Texas A&M losing to Nebraska. Nebraska getting their first NCAA tournament win ever without their old AD, Trev Alberts. They beat A&M with Trev Alberts Friday night early at FedEx Forum. Wisconsin over James Madison, Duke over Vermont, Texas Tech over NC State, Kentucky over Oakland. I'm not scared of it. I'm not on scare alert like Blake Lovell was. And I have Florida over whoever they play, either Colorado or Boise State. Give me Marquette over Western Kentucky. Back to the top. Houston beats Nebraska, Duke beats Wisconsin, Kentucky beats Texas Tech, and Marquette advances over Todd Golden and the Gators. Then Houston over Duke, Kentucky over Marquette, and it sets up the announcer setup of all time. Something's got to give. Kentucky's offense against Kelvin Sampson's defense, and I'm going to take defense every time in that matchup. Any sport. Give me defense over offense. Houston wins, beats Cal, beats Kentucky. Kelvin Sampson back to the Final Four.
Wow, I love it. So all of us have Houston coming out of the South. I'll start us off in the Midwest. I have Purdue over the winner of Montana State and Grambling tonight. I have Utah State beating TCU. I've got Gonzaga beating McNeese. I also have Kansas beating Samford. I know that's a favorite in the upsets category, Samford over Kansas, but I think Kansas gets past them and beats Samford. I have Oregon over South Carolina. I have Creighton over Akron. I have Texas over over Colorado State, and I have Tennessee over St. Peter's. In my round of 32, I have Purdue over Utah State. I have Gonzaga over Kansas. I have Oregon over Creighton, and I have Tennessee over Texas. In my Sweet 16, I have Purdue over Gonzaga and Tennessee over Oregon. And in my Elite 8, I have Purdue beating Tennessee to set up a Houston versus Purdue match.
Oh, you had to, or you weren't able to sleep at your house.
That's a good point. Very good point.
You had to. You can't have Tennessee in the Final Four.
No, I would have been.
It's a rule.
It's a rule, and I got him probably as close as I'm allowed to.
Straight out of the wheel.
And then I had to get him out of there. So,
in fact, to the bad table come Easter Sunday.
That's right. Even sooner.
Hey, Brett, that's a good one.
Send me over there. No Easter for me.
All right, Johnny.
Okay, I got Purdue over Grambling, and I got Utah State over TCU. I got Gonzaga over McNeese. I got Kansas over Samford. I got South Carolina over Oregon. I got Creighton over Akron. I got Tennessee over Texas. Then in my second round, I got Purdue over Utah State. Then I got Gonzaga over Kansas. I got South Carolina over Creighton. And I got Tennessee over Texas. In my Sweet 16, I got Purdue over Gonzaga, and I got Tennessee over Creighton. And in my Elite 8, I got Purdue beating Tennessee.
Okay, so a lot of agreement. I'm with everybody on Purdue. I got them all the way out to the final game. I've got TCU over Utah State, Gonzaga over McNeese with Will Wade, 30 wins, but he goes down in the first round. Kansas, even without their big player, over Samford. Oregon over South Carolina, Creighton over Akron, and Texas over Colorado State, and Tennessee over St. Peter's. No upset alert like St. Peter's was on a few years ago and pulled off the upset. Then in the Sweet 16, Purdue over TCU, KU over Gonzaga, Creighton over Oregon, and Texas over Tennessee. Rick Barnes' revenge over the other UT. And then I have Purdue winning over Kansas, Tennessee defeating Creighton, getting to the Elite 8, and then they lose there to Purdue. So left side, UConn, North Carolina Final Four. Right side, Houston, Purdue Final Four. UConn beats North Carolina. Purdue beats Houston. And UConn cuts the nets down in back-to-back years.
Wow. So you have all 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four.
That's as chalky as it gets.
Wow.
Dave did as well this morning.
Really?
And we know better, don't we? We should know better.
Hey, Brett, I had the same thing.
Johnny has the same thing. And
We're making history.
We are.
Him earlier. I was saying the last time that happened.
08.
I mean, what are we talking about?
That's a lot of tournaments ago.
It's a long time ago. My Final Four, Johnny, go through yours and who your champion is before I get to mine.
Okay, my champion is I got I have UConn versus North Carolina, and I got North Carolina beating them. And then on the other side, I got Houston and Purdue. I got Houston beating Purdue. And in the national championship against North Carolina versus Houston, I got Houston winning.
All right, a Kelvin Sampson.
I would be fine with that.
Yeah,
I would be first time for University of Houston, first national championship for Kelvin Sampson, and I love it when first time teams get one.
Yeah, I would be extremely fine with it as well. My Final Four, I've got out of the East, Iowa State versus out of the West, Baylor. I have Baylor beating Iowa State, so that's a 2-3 in my Final Four. So I have Baylor returning to the national championship game. The other side of the bracket, Houston coming out of the South versus Purdue coming out of the Midwest. I have Houston winning that game, setting up a all-Texas national championship game between Baylor and Houston. I have Houston winning the national championship. So me and Johnny, same national champions.
So your national championship game are two teams that are going to be here all weekend.
That's right. That'd be a lot of fun.
Really would be.
You could see both of them.
And I think we should have a real good handle on both, and they both go way back, the Southwest Conference days and now in the Big 12 together.
Yeah, no, that is huge. I would love that. I would love it. I'm just now seeing, speaking of Baylor, Jeff Goodman just tweeted out that Scott Drew will remain at Baylor. Sources are telling him Drew's name has obviously been involved with Louisville, most notably, also a lot of other schools out there who have had openings, tried to get it. Certainly the biggest was Louisville with the money that they can throw around. It sounds like Scott Drew very happy in Waco with Baylor.
He is, and isn't that something? He wanted the Memphis job. Mm-hmm. He had it. It was all but done, and it just true character assassination by some to take him out. Since that time, he's only won 336 games at Baylor and a national championship. Crazy. And hadn't been on probation and hadn't left for another job.
Yeah, and I would say probably I know David Cobb, when he joins us at the beginning of the basketball season every year, CBS Sports does the kind of every year top coaches in college basketball. And he's always, top 3, top 5 coaches in college basketball right now. I mean, he's just an unbelievable coach. And, I would have loved to have him as the head coach at the University of Memphis. And I think a lot of people,
think of what could have been avoided.
Yeah. I mean, crazy.
This drought.
Yeah, and what he did, going into a situation at Baylor, far worse than what was here at Memphis, and turning that program around and getting it to what it is now. And I have them going all the way to the national championship. I think they've got a good shot to go certainly deep in it. So we'll see what they do. Obviously, starting here in Memphis on Friday will be a lot of fun. Well, let's go ahead, get to our final break of this hour, and when we come back, we will get to big number of the day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I am such a failure.
You're going to have to narrow that one down a bit.
As the spokesperson for Central Barbecue, I have failed to tell everyone about the new location in South Haven.
Technically, I'm the spokesperson for Central Barbecue.
Well, I haven't told anyone, but there's a new location in South Haven that's super convenient for the people living there. And I haven't told them that location is where all the Central Barbecue catering for North Mississippi comes from.
If we could get back to the Central Barbecue spokesperson thing, see, you have to do this because you work here.
Now I have no clue how I'm going to face the people of South Haven. I have besmirched the name Central Barbecue spokesperson.
Besmirched.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, free gun rentals with purchase of ammo, and members lounge access. Top Gun 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. and it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Where are my basketball fans at? Present! Welcome to Fandom 101. The madness is upon us. When the biggest ballers in the land take the court, we need you loud, proud, and live cheering them on. The NCAA Division I men's basketball first and second rounds, March 22nd and 24th in Memphis. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVP tickets. Class dismissed.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year no dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy. Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big. Big Daddy. The big boy. You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today is the number 25. Here are the final stats for Virginia last night. 28.2% shooting on 2-pointers, 17.6% shooting on 3-pointers, 64.7% shooting on free throws, only 24 rebounds, 4 steals, and 1 block. No other Division I team in the last 25 years, that is a long time, has had those stats or worse in a game, and this includes all games during that span, NCAA tournament or regular season. So that is just incredible how bad Virginia was last night.
They were bad, and boy, you were walking all over my big number earlier with the bracket predictions, because here's my big number. It's not real big, but it's pertinent for the Memphis games this week. It's 2. Okay. We have 2 Final Four coaches coming to town, Scott Drew and Kelvin Sampson, and Bryant, and many think that they could meet again for the national championship on the last Monday night of the year. Scott Drew got that title at Baylor. Baylor and Houston, all members of the Southwest Conference, along with Texas A&M. I think you would call football schools in town at least 3: Clemson, Nebraska, and A&M.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people would want to say it.
Yeah, I think they'd like to say it, but are they?
Yeah, certainly their fans would like to say it, but
certainly that's their priority.
Sure.
Nebraska at one time, the ultimate football school, national champs in 94, 95. 97, and even some way back before that. Clemson winning it in 81, in 2016, and 2018. Clemson's never had a Heisman Trophy winner. A&M, they've had 2. Baylor's had RG3, and Nebraska's had three in their time: Johnny Rogers, Mike Rozier, and Eric Crouch. So really, a lot of football fandom here. I can't remember a great Colgate player. That the Raiders had a good running back in the 70s from Colgate, Mark Van Egan, and Mark Murphy, that runs the Packers now, played there and played for Washington a lot in the NFL. So in Longwood, I got nothing on their football.
Does Longwood even have football?
Don't know. I hate to ask that to somebody. Old answer football.
Let's see. Longwood Athletics. Let's see what athletics Longwood offers outside of the outstanding basketball program they have. Of course, I get to their website and I get something for their NCAA tournament run. They do not have football. Wow, not a ton of sports. Baseball, basketball, cross country, golf, outdoor track, soccer, and tennis.
I think when I was looking up for a long time, Longwood was just a girls' school.
Really?
I think.
Interesting.
I think I saw that. But I don't know much about Longwood.
No, I
Go
don't
Lancers.
Hey, you're right, Brett. They were just
I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
For the women's, they even got field hockey and different things like that.
How about that?
Now, it was a long time ago before when they changed, but Florida State was for a long time.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's news to me.
I would say Florida State prior to World War II,
oh, wow.
and then went co-ed after that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a long time ago now.
Sure. Well, that's interesting. But I'm jealous of you, Brett. You're gonna get to see Longwood on Friday.
I'm ready to see that. That's the last game of the day. Yeah. I'm like Bruce Marshall. I don't know if I got 4 in me, but I'm gonna give it a whirl Friday.
You're gonna give it a try.
Really looking forward to seeing Nebraska. I've never seen them in either of the two big sports. In 1977, they came here to the Liberty Bowl with Tom Osborne. Sure. As head coach, played North Carolina with famous Amos Lawrence at running back for North Carolina. And I just assumed we were going because we kind of always did. Sure. And Dad said, no. He said, I think we're going to pass after we almost all died last year from the cold at the Alabama-UCLA game. He said, let's just sit here and watch it. So that was my really kind of one shot. Even at bowl time, I didn't go to the Ole Miss Nebraska Independence Bowl because I had seen enough of Shreveport.
Yeah.
I'm not chancing in Shreveport ever again.
Well, that's probably
I got out of there alive one night in 1983.
Yeah, well, that's probably a good idea. Have you seen Baylor?
Oh yeah, tons in the Southwest Conference. Tons
that's right.
In football and basketball, tons. And Ole Miss, we just played them a few years ago in the Sugar Bowl.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I was more talking about basketball. I figured.
Oh yeah, tons in basketball at Southwest Conference tournaments.
I forget about the Southwest Conference
at Barnhill.
Yeah. Well, so it's gonna be nice to cross off a couple of these teams.
New Mexico, I passed on going when they played the Tigers early in the Cal years, either first or second year in the NIT, because I was gone covering NCAA tournament. So I met, are we getting ready to go? So that's why I crossed off. Saw them in Little Rock. I think Arkansas beat them like 17-0 early 80s or so, and that's the only time I've ever seen them in football.
Wow. Well, I'm excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing them in Memphis. I don't expect them to pull. I certainly hope after we've done our brackets that we don't get the 16 over the 1 here in Memphis and Longwood beats Houston. I don't expect it. But, hey, if they make it Sunday, I will make sure for a fact, no matter what's happening, I will drop everything and go see Longwood play on Sunday in Memphis. But
that would be quite the treat.
Well, it sure would be. I'm not going to bank on it for sure, but it should be a lot of fun. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up our second hour and get to a break. We've talked all about our brackets, so let's stick with college basketball. And when we come back to start our 5 o'clock hour, Kevin Sweeney will join us to talk some more college basketball. That's next on Sports Time.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at LawnSolutionsInc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Where are my basketball fans at? Present! Welcome to Fandom 101. The madness is upon us. When the biggest ballers in the land take the court, we need you loud, proud, and live cheering them on. The NCAA Division I men's basketball first and second rounds, March 22nd and 24th in Memphis. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVP tickets. Class dismissed.
It's time to discover your new Kia at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And there's never been a better time to drive off in your new Kia. Make it happen today in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG, $219 a month. How about sporty 2024 Kia Sportage LX? We Gossett $289 a month. Both $34.99 to its signing. And get rugged in 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $429 a month. $39.99 to its signing, all 36-month lease. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, $39.85, MSRP $22,320. Sportage R724, $76.40, MSRP $29,635. Telluride RG $49.9963, MSRP $41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park. We got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. There's still a lot of traffic right now in the Midtown area, up and down 240 north and southbound. Here at Lamar, it's because the 55 bridge remains closed. Here comes that rush hour traffic now southbound on 240 from Union all the way down to Norris. It's building pretty good over here now on 240 east, let's say from Middle Branch out to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. As you get on the Bill Morris Parkway, that still looks like a clear shot all the way out into Collierville. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And join us now to talk some college basketball. Kevin Sweeney joins us to talk some college basketball. I think we have Kevin. Kevin, you there with us?
What's up, guys?
Perfect.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I was making sure. I thought we lost you there for a second. But, Kevin, I know we got a lot, obviously, with the brackets in front of us, a lot to talk about with this tournament. But I want to start off with the Memphis Tigers. Their season came to an unfortunate end. We were all talking about the possibilities of going down to Fort Worth, winning 4 games in 4 days. We knew it would be tough, but the Tigers looked like they had been playing better. They go out there, they lose their first game against Wichita State. What did you make of this entire season for the Memphis Tigers, and how important is this offseason for Penny Hardaway?
Yeah, I mean, kind of a fitting way to end, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of head-scratching to the final minute of what this season was, and does set the stage for a really important offseason. This year is a disappointment, no question about it. I think it raises questions, big picture, about, the direction here. I think, for the last couple of years, you could say that there was some progress, that things were improving, that Penny was growing, and I think this year was a step back in a lot of ways. Doesn't mean that it's a permanent step back, but I think it's a critical season. Next year, I think it's a critical offseason setting up for that, and I think it's more than anything, I think Memphis needs stability, right? They need to find ways. Yes, they're going to bring in new faces. That's who they are, but they need to find ways to foster a more cohesive unit, find better culture. Like, this can't be, let's scrape around at the bottom of the barrel for guys in July and August who are hunting the biggest NIL deal.
Yeah, and that's what it felt like last year with the late deals. And for this year, here's the catch-22. Here's the real rub for Coach Hardaway. You put together another, just team that you have no idea right now who will be the makeup of it. You don't know that they respond in November and December like this one did. You play that tough schedule in that 11, 12, 13 games. Instead of going 11-2 this year, you go 8-5 next year, and then you struggle in conference next year too. You have no prayer when bracketology starts. But it also could turn around that you struggle early, a little bit like the 22-23 season. You struggle early and then get it right in conference.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think there's an inherent importance for Memphis in playing well in the non-conference because of the maybe weaker schedule that they're going to play in league play, the lack of opportunities, and that is a big challenge in the portal era. But I think at the same time, like, everybody's dealing with it, right? I mean, FAU is going to have a new team. I expect South Florida to lose guys, and they certainly lost guys. It certainly had a new group this year and found a way to rip through the league. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's Penny's job to figure out a way to get these guys playing at a high level early next season. And if he does, the criticism will quiet down pretty quickly. But, until then, I think, the taste left in everyone's mouth from this season is well earned.
His name has been associated with Houston, his hometown. Do you think Josh Pastner gets the Rice job?
His name has been thrown out there. I'm not convinced necessarily that he gets that job, but I do think he's in the conversation. He fits it in a lot of ways, and I would welcome seeing him back on the sideline. So we'll see what happens. I
would too, but here's what Tiger fans cannot see next February. They can't see another loss at Tulane, and they can't see a loss to a Josh Pastner coach team.
That is true, yes. That game would have a little extra juice, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm, sure would. Well, let's get into the NCAA tournament. The brackets are official. First 4 games started last night. We'll wrap those up tonight, and then we'll really get to the nitty-gritty tomorrow morning. But the big news last night out of Kansas, Kevin McCullough, who sat the conference tournament, sounded like Bill Self said last week that both him and Hunter Dickinson would be good to go in the NCAA tournament. But last night we find out not only will Kevin McCullough miss the first game against Samford, he will miss the entire NCAA tournament. What does this news mean for Kansas against a Samford team that even before this news came out, a lot of people were picking that upset?
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive blow. Obviously, McCullough, a great scorer, a great defender, but I think most importantly, number one, he's experienced in the NCAA tournament, and number two, he's a steady ball handler. I mean, he's their second best ball handler, probably their best shot creator. And against the Samford team that's going to do everything it can to disrupt you, that is going to run and press for 40 minutes and get up in your shirt and really put pressure on these freshmen for Kansas, Marco Jackson and Johnny Furphy. having a guy who's played in 140 college basketball games and played in the NCAA tournament, played in the second weekend, would have been really, really valuable. So it's a huge blow. I think it certainly opens the door for an upset, and even if not, I think eliminates Kansas from really being a strong consideration to make a deep run in this tournament.
Kevin, our friend Dave Woloshin, who calls Tiger basketball games and football games and hosts a morning show here, he made a comment this morning that I really thought was real sharp, and it's true. How come San Diego State didn't get the national buzz bounce off that Final Four run that FAU got? Why are we so FAU crazed in San Diego State? I know the time zone. I know when they play, but San Diego State plays in a lot better league. They didn't get near the bump FAU got.
Yeah, look, I think part of it is that San Diego State wasn't quite the story, right? They didn't come out of nowhere. They've been a great program for a long time. I think the other thing is just they weren't the run-it-back team. Yes, you have Jaden Ledee and Darian Trammell, Lamont Butler, those guys back, but this wasn't 5 starters return, everybody's coming for it again. I think San Diego State was kind of happy to settle into who they are. I'd also say I'm not sure that Brian Dutcher hated that. I think Brian Dutcher liked the concept and didn't force it. I think honestly, I think when Dusty May looks back on this season, I think one of the things he will regret is how much they pushed it as we're running it back, we're trying to win a championship, we're going to the Final Four. Like the expectations that were set externally because of those comments were really damaging to FAU and really hard to deal with. And so I do sort of wonder if maybe it was some savvy veteran stuff from Brian Dutcher and San Diego State to say, hey, look, we're fine to hide out on the West Coast. If people don't pay attention to us, they don't have to.
Yeah. Well, in the Mountain West, they get 6 teams in, and you were at that conference tournament last week in Las Vegas, but a lot of people kind of questioning the seeds they got. 2 of their teams in the first 4 in Dayton. We learned New Mexico played their way into the tournament by winning their conference championship. Do you feel like the Mountain West has been undervalued by the selection committee this year?
Yeah, I thought it was a disaster. I mean, it really disappointing because I think at the end of the day, the only way you could come to the conclusions that the committee did about the Mountain West was to basically make an arbitrary distinction that beating Nevada was not the same thing as beating Florida, even if Nevada and Florida were next to each other in the net. Right? And that's not how it's supposed to work, right? The committee's not supposed to sit up there and play brand politics and say, I don't know if this league is strong enough and their wins like the justification that most Mountain West teams' best wins were against their conference falls really flat when you look at every other conference, right? Big 12 teams build their resumes by beating Big 12 That's teams. Right. ACC teams build resumes. It's so stupid that we're here. But, again, fortunate for Colorado State, they won their first 4 game. We'll see if Boise has similar luck tonight against Colorado. I'm hopeful that the league has a good tournament. Either way, I think it's kind of been set up to fail because of the seeding. But, I was out in Vegas and last week, and it was such a high level event. You can't tell me the Mountain West isn't a high major basketball conference and the Pac-12 is by just going to those games and seeing the talent, the coaching, the environments. I mean, it is a high quality product in every sense of the word, whether or not it's a quote unquote high major.
Everybody talking about the potential spicy second round coach versus coach matchups, but I love some of these first round matchups. You mentioned Dusty May going against your alma mater against Chris Collins. I love Jans versus Izzo. What a matchup there, and even I like the first round matchup of Dana Altman against Lamont Paris.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of kind of really interesting coaching battles. I'm excited. I'm out here in Charlotte, and our first game of the tournament tomorrow afternoon is Chris Jans versus Tom Izzo. And heard Chris Jans earlier tell us that Tom Izzo was his first coach he looked up to. Like when he was asked as a young coach, who's the guy he wants to be like, it was Tom Izzo. And so to see kind of battles like that are really, really cool. It's a great part of the event. Obviously, I think it's a great opportunity to see some of the great, young mid-major coaches come to the forefront. Guys like obviously Dusty made his name last year, but maybe there's a guy like Pat Kelsey this year, or Danny Sprinkle at Utah State, Nico Medved at Colorado State, Darren DeVries at Drake. I mean, you can go down the list, right? There's a bunch of guys who do a phenomenal job, and this week they get a chance to really be on the front and center in the national picture, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Talking to Kevin Sweeney. He joins us every week to talk college basketball. Go give him a follow on Twitter at CBB_Central. Looking at Alabama, a team that really all year it's kind of been tough to figure out. Obviously, offensively, can pretty much do whatever they want, but defensively, it is a wild card every single night. They really struggle on that end of the court. First-round matchup against a Charleston team that will certainly put up shots and score a lot. And then if they win that game, they have to turn around and see either St. Mary's or Grand Canyon. How far do you think this Alabama team can go this year?
Yeah, look, it's funny. Like, I think if you swapped Auburn and Alabama and you put Auburn in this West region, I think Auburn might be the favorite to win it. Yeah. I mean, there'd be a ton of conversation with them coming off the SEC tournament and hot, and it just feels wide open with Arizona looking vulnerable, Baylor's defensive problems, Carolina obviously the worst of the one seed. So it's there for Alabama's taking, is I guess the way I would put it. But at the same time, how do you trust them to win four straight? I mean, I do think, and this is something Nate Oates told me in February, they feel like they're more equipped to win in March this year because they're more consistent offensively. Obviously the defense has been a huge issue, and it doesn't seem like that's going to go away anytime soon. But they think they will score with anyone, whereas last year, obviously, they were pretty reliant on Brandon Miller, and he came up short in the Sweet 16 game against San Diego State. So that's the case for the Tide. But I also think it's hard to trust them beyond. I think the Sweet 16 really is further.
What's the better story? Hubert Davis at Basketball Craze, North Carolina. He's been to a final game, finally getting his first. Or Purdue, the redemption story, or Kelvin Sampson at Houston, or UConn back-to-back. What's the better of those four number one seed stories?
I think the Purdue story is really compelling, partially because of who Matt Painter is as a person, who Zach Edey is. I mean, for what it would mean to the school, understanding that this is potentially the last best chance, right? It's hard to talk about quote-unquote title windows closing in college sports because you never know who's coming through the door next, and obviously Painter's done a phenomenal job. But it does feel like if Purdue doesn't really come close this year, you'll wonder if it's ever happening. And so, look, I think it's the number one story of the tournament. I think they got a good draw to potentially at least make it to Phoenix, which would be a great storyline of its own. But obviously a lot of work to do, and looking forward to see how they deal with the initial pressure of that first buzzer in the NCAA tournament here this week.
When you look around, obviously kind of everybody's favorite thing to do when the bracket comes out is, find that underdog, find that Cinderella team, that team that's going to surprise everybody in the first round or maybe even a couple of games in. Who's the team that jumps out to you when you look at this bracket?
I think there's a few that have opportunities to really make a run. Like I love this James Madison group. I know that they're, obviously they're 31-3. It feels like I'm, taking the easy way out, picking the team with the most wins in college basketball. But I do think there's a lot of, there's a lot of similarities between them and FAU from a year ago in terms of incredibly deep, very well coached, had a big win early in the season, and really just have different guys who can beat you on different nights. I mean, I think Xavion Brown is their starting two-guard, sophomore. He had 20 points in the first half of their conference championship game. He averages 6 points a game, right? That's very FAU reminiscent from a year ago. So I think the path is doable for them, playing Wisconsin and Duke, two teams who are good but beatable. And once you get to the Sweet 16, you never know what's going to happen.
We're 2 North Carolina State wins away from it being compared to Jimmy V's 1983 run.
It's something, man. I mean, look, Kevin Keats was not just on the hot seat. As I understand, he was as good as gone. As soon as the ACC tournament ended, there was going to be some very, very serious conversations about his future. And all of a sudden goes on a run for the ages, wins 5 straight, struggles with Louisville in the opener, and then all of a sudden is just rolling. And now we'll see if DJ Burns and those guys can keep the good vibes rolling into the first weekend.
Yeah. Did you have a problem with only 3 Big East teams getting in? I know, a couple sitting right there on the bubble that we talked about with you a lot down the stretch, but ultimately only 3 make it. What did you think of that on Selection Sunday?
Look, I don't think that any of Seton Hall, Providence, and St. John's have a ton to complain about because they each had major holes in their resume. I think Seton Hall probably the one that I would feel worst for because they went 13-7 in a really good league and still got left out. I will say this, I'm not a fan of just assigning bids to conferences, right? It's a very arbitrary cutoff, 36. The best 36 at-large teams. It doesn't mean make a conference bad if a couple of teams come up short of that, or great because a couple of teams sneak inside of that. But I will say is, when you're coming down to these very tight decisions, right? Virginia and Colorado in particular, and those 2 teams lost to the quote-unquote bid stealer in their conference tournament. So if it's close, why don't we just treat that as somewhat of an elimination game and say, well, again, and in hindsight, it's very easy here now that Virginia played so poorly against Colorado State. But, you sit there like, all right, if it was between Virginia and St. John's, why does NC State beating Virginia knock out St. John's and not Virginia? Right? Let's treat this like a tournament. So that to me would be my biggest gripe. I would have liked to see at least one of those Big East teams in the field, but I don't think any of them were can't-miss cases.
Have you walked in, seen the building set up, seen the carpeting, been back to to any of the interviews?
Yeah, I was around the arena all day today.
You had it.
Hubert and Tennessee and all those guys. Had the morning flight in, so it's been a long day. But it's always fun and exciting. I think the one thing I always love is you go out and watch open practice and see teams walk out the tunnel for the first time, and the oohs and ahs on the faces of all those kids when they see that March Madness floor on the floor. It's just I mean, it's special, and
it is,
especially for the small.
It's a lot of hard work that's gone into that.
Oh, it's awesome, and again, I think it's cool even nowadays because there's so many guys who transferred, right? I mean, Dalton connects to Tennessee. He's a superstar, but last year he was losing 20 games to Northern Colorado and dreaming of a moment like this. So for guys to see their March Madness dream come true is pretty cool.
Well, you're there at a story that very interesting here with Tennessee and Rick Barnes with his NCAA tournament deficiencies at time. And then last Friday in that Tennessee game, Dalton Connect scared me. Everything I saw about Tennessee and Nashville scared me to death.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was really bad performance. I will say they would have been they would have looked a lot better if wide open shots went in. I mean, they missed a lot of open threes. Doesn't mean that they played well, but they also missed a bunch of shots they usually make. You hope that was just to kind of get out of the system game and roll. But yeah, I mean, the pressure's on, and it's very hard when, even though the players change, I think it's very hard when you're labeled as the quote unquote choker school. Not to get tight, not to seize up in the big moment. So it'll be interesting to see if Tennessee gets seriously pushed at all this weekend. I don't think St. Peter's will be the team to do it. Maybe Texas or Colorado State could. But again, we'll see what happens. I mean, I do believe in this Tennessee group. I think they have all the makings of a team that can make a deep run, but they have to prove it, and it's something that they've failed to do in the past.
All right, Kevin. Before we let you go, who do you got in the Final Four, and who do you have cutting down the nets?
My big story is I've got Auburn over UConn in the East. So Auburn in the East.
That is gigantic, Kevin. That is big.
It'd be a heck of a story. And then Baylor in the West, Houston in the South, and Purdue in the Midwest. And then I've got Purdue facing Auburn in the Final Four, and the Boilermakers completing the redemption arc and cutting down the nets in Phoenix.
That would be a lot of fun if they could do it. I know it's going to be a lot of fun really over the next couple of weeks when we really get these games going. Kevin, as always, thanks so much, and enjoy those games in North Carolina tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin Sweeney with us every week, and that's a big upset to have Auburn out there because a lot of people, maybe not to win it all, but just about everybody's got UConn coming through Brooklyn and Boston.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's that kind of cozy in their neighborhood, and
sure
that
is.
would be huge. But certainly Auburn is battle-tested what they did in the SEC tournament. I mean, if we get, and I think all of us predict that we'll get the Sweet 16 of Auburn and UConn, that's going to be a heck of a game no matter who wins.
I want to do well in my bracket. I want the SEC to do well.
Sure.
But by and large, however it shakes out, I'm going to enjoy it.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, when I ask him, Kelvin Sampson, Matt Painter finally closed it out. Iowa State, finally win it. Auburn win it. Got there a few years ago, and I thought just got one of the worst calls ever. And I hate being the guy that complains about refs. I can't stand that guy. But I thought they got a terrible call. Yeah. But Virginia went on and closed the deal. A guy that could have the biggest, loudest last laugh ever, and he would.
Oh, yeah.
John Calipari.
Yep. You're right about that. You're right. And, I asked Kevin about Alabama. I think you can ask the same question about Kentucky and what they can do in this bracket. We've talked about really all season long about can that defense hold up, because we've seen it be really, really bad for a lot of games this year.
Yeah, and even we get to in 2 weeks we'll be talking about the Final Four weekend. But when it gets there, it doesn't bother me if it's North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, Layton. It's how it shakes out.
Exactly. And again, just like we talk about in college football and with all of these games, we're going to watch those games no matter who's playing in the Final Four, and we're going to enjoy them.
We sure will. And Gonzaga, everybody's kind of written off Mark Few that almost, as Kevin said, for Purdue, it always changes. Mm-hmm. So if they don't get it, if you don't get it this year, when are you going to get it? We've already moved Gonzaga into that category, haven't we?
It's starting to feel like it.
Window's closed?
It's starting to feel like it. I haven't completely closed the window yet, but I also just love Gonzaga. But
I've closed the window. I just hadn't hit the lock latches.
Sure. I mean, it's definitely looking that way. And kind of this team that they have this year, I think, has been, when we talk about dominant teams, they have not been up to that standard that we've seen of Gonzaga teams over the last handful of years.
And this is what I tell people about Thursday and Friday. Okay, so we start tomorrow and it rocks along, and I think the Mississippi State, Michigan State game, it wouldn't surprise anybody who won that one. But say we got to 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. About this time tomorrow afternoon, we're on there, and there hadn't been that upset. All that means is it's coming.
Yeah, that night, it's coming.
Okay, you survived Thursday,
sure.
and it's pretty chalky. Look out Friday.
Yeah, yep, that's how it always
goes. Because it's coming.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be there at some point.
It's Chevy truck season at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. First exit when you on Highway 78 and you cross into Mississippi, that's Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there. All the Silverados you can imagine right there at Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. Get any new Silverado you want with financing down to 0.9. Your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star. Trailblazers and Equinox with 1.9 financing, but no payments for 90 days. Families love the new Suburbans, where we can all do more together. Where are we going for Easter? Where are we going for spring break? Where are we going for March Madness? And better yet, what are you driving? Need to be driving something from All-Star Chevrolet. Military, college students, teachers, healthcare workers, first responders. That covers a lot of people. You get an extra $500 bonus back. You deserve it. You want pre-owned? Everything you want's right there at All-Star. All the Jeeps and Ram trucks. Drive a Yukon Denali or a Traverse. If it's not on the lot, ask Kevin or Jeff, and they'll find it for you. And both Kevin and Jeff want to, and everybody at All-Star want to wish all our listeners a happy springtime today. Spring is officially sprung today. The Easter season, the holy season, and the basketball season. Remember, it's not Mount Moriah, it's not South Haven, it's not Bartlett, it's not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Go to All-Star Chevy today, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, we need to get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time to triple your savings with Gossett's Jeep Celebration Event and Ram Truck Month and Dodge Power Shot Days, all at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. How about new 2023 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4? We Gossett $5,052 off MSRP. That's Jeep Renegade Latitude $24,988. How about new 2023 Jeep Cherokee Altitude 4x4? We Gossett $33,230. That's $8,000 off MSRP. And Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike has 2023 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4, $14,000 off MSRP. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett on the Pike, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at
Renegade Triple P 56029, MSRP 30040. Altitude PD 10 3653, MSRP 41230. Gladiator PL 570 369, MSRP 64925. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Remember to use code KOSTOS and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Place your money line, prop, and parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. Tennessee only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
Are you aware? It's patio season. Family Leisure sure is. That's why they have factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and even, yes, patio furniture. Yes, sir, it's indeed patio season. So come by Family Leisure and check out all the brand new 2024 patio furniture sets. And with patio season here, you know that pool season will be here before you even know it. So buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Plus, you could save $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even up to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Family Leisure has got special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and even outdoor kitchens. I love it when it's patio season because of all the fantastic deals that Family Leisure makes available just for you. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Where are my basketball fans at?
Present!
Welcome to Fandom 101. The madness is upon us. When the biggest ballers in the land take the court, we need you loud, proud, and live cheering them on. The NCAA Division I men's basketball first and second rounds, March 22nd and 24th in Memphis. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVP tickets. Class dismissed.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, 39.85, MSRP 22,320. Sportage R7, 24,7640, MSRP 29,635. Telluride RG 49,9963, MSRP 41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Hey, it's my man Jeff Allen bringing sweet deals from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey, Randy, I've got a 2024 Kia Forte LXS that gets 41 MPG highway, and you can hit the road for just $219 a month.
That's awesome. What else you got?
2024 Kia Sportage LX, $289 a month. Both 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. Or go big in a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $429 a month. 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing.
Plus, get peace of mind with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
We're online 24/7, KiaMountMoriah.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. MPD on the scene of a couple of crashes out here the last few minutes. It remains crowded. Trying to sneak out of Midtown right now and going southbound on 240 from Lamar all the way down past Norris. It's crowded now. 240 east from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 Billmores Parkway. A lot of traffic there outbound on Sam Cooper as well as you hit some of those traffic lights headed back towards the interstate. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out online at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. We got a little bit less than 30 minutes left in today's show. Got to talk about what's trending, but we got to start with some breaking news. Major League Baseball season started this morning with a game between the Dodgers and the Padres in Korea. Talked about earlier, I did not wake up for the game. I recorded it and watched it later. Fun game, whatever. But this afternoon, Jeff Passan tweeted out about an hour ago the latest on the firing of Shohei Ohtani's interpreter amid questions about the transfer of $4.5 million from Ohtani's bank account to a bookmaking operation under federal investigations. So I didn't expect to see that on the day of the first Major League Baseball game. Maybe I thought Ohtani would be trending. Maybe he goes out and hits a couple home runs in his first game as a Dodger, and we're all talking about Shohei Ohtani. What I didn't expect is that we were going to be talking about his interpreter being fired for basically stealing $4.5 million from Shohei Ohtani.
Which contrast that with the Jacksonville Jags that let someone in-house get to them for $22 million before they discovered it.
How about
Way
that?
to go for Shohei Ohtani Incorporated and the safeguards they have up. $4.5 million is a lot of money.
Yeah.
$22 million is even more. And just like when what party in the Jags deal asked for the money back?
Yeah.
Wanted like FanDuel to give the money.
Give us that money back. I mean, we didn't really do it.
You're not getting it. Oh yeah, the ownership, the Jags asked for it. They're not getting a penny back.
No, they're not getting any of it back. An interesting story. I haven't had enough time. It's a long piece on ESPN that I've not been able to get through. But it sounds I did not know Shohei Ohtani and his interpreter were friends before he even became his interpreter. And supposedly Ohtani's spokesperson told ESPN that the money transfer was to cover the interpreter's gambling debt. And then the interpreter sat down with ESPN for a 90-minute interview Tuesday night, during which he laid out his account in great detail. However, as ESPN prepared to publish the story Wednesday, the spokesperson disavowed his account and said Ohtani's lawyers would issue a statement, and that statement came out today. So now we know a little bit more about what actually happened. So it sounded like there was going to be a story regardless, but it sounded like it was more about the interpreter had this gambling addiction, he's in this gambling debt, Ohtani paid for it, and kind of what comes next. And now it has turned into this money was taken out, it sounds like without Shohei Ohtani's knowledge of what it was actually going towards.
That's the stealing part.
Yes, that would go to stealing, and that's what
and to bookmaking operation. That doesn't sound like it. It's at the Harrah's on the Strip or over at Southland.
No.
It sounds like it might have been old-fashioned the man.
Yes, no, that does not sound like what the Jaguars had with just straight up big name FanDuel out there. It sounds like deeper, but you mentioned the stealing, and in the statement that came out today, it said, "We discovered that Shohei has been the victim of a massive theft, and we are turning the matter over to the authority." So this is certainly an interesting turn of events.
It is, and look, I know the amount of money he makes, but taking $1 from him,
sure,
that person is in the wrong, and certainly $4.5 million. The question I asked earlier on the pressure, I asked Blake Lovell, who do you think has the most pressure, Rick Barnes or John Calipari? Who least wants after the tournament, after you're eliminated, you get the text, hey, come over, we need to go over some stuff. Not going to be fired,
sure,
but just, got to go see this guy.
Yeah, no, neither are going to be fired, but I would probably say John Calipari. I don't think obviously Tennessee coming off the regular season conference championship, which means a lot. I know they got bounced in the first round of the conference tournament, but I think for Cal, you see this, whether it's a majority of the fan base or a minority of the fan base, it's Kentucky, and it's a loud portion of the fan base that already is not very pleased with what he has done lately, and then you kind of throw onto the fact an early exit this year. I don't think anybody would be very happy about that. That is certainly who I think has the most pressure.
What other coaches out there really need a run?
Oh, that's a good question.
To maybe back, Matt Painter, he's not in any trouble.
No.
And Purdue's kind of used to falling a little unfulfilled. Now with Bill Self with the player, he's not. It's not. They're not. Nobody's after him.
No, I really don't see many.
I don't
out
either.
There. It seems like a lot of these coaches.
Not Bruce Pearl.
No, I really don't see any.
It's safe. John Shira. Certainly not dismissal.
No.
That's crazy, but.
No, I don't think so.
But if Kentucky's Kentucky, Duke's Duke.
Sure, no, Duke is certainly Duke. I think he's still kind of young in terms of coaching, and I think he gets kind of the benefit of the doubt there. You also, and obviously Kentucky can do the same exact thing, but you also can fall back on, okay, early exit, I don't think anybody is going to be thrilled about, but then you immediately, move over to, oh, look, we have Cooper Flagg coming to campus next year, the number one prospect, and, people are comparing him to saying he could be one of the greats of all time. So I think that protects him
soft landing.
A lot.
Yeah,
I think it's a very soft landing for him.
It sure is. Earlier when we were visiting with Jason Munns, I made the comment about the Rice game. And I'll take, just because I live this, I'll go back to opening day of the 2010 college football season and Ole Miss losing to Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
And the next week, the first time I saw Coach Houston Nutt the next week, trying to be upbeat, get your chin up, he goes, no. He goes, you never wash this off. Yeah. The current coach never gets this washed off of him.
Yeah. And that's maybe as unfortunate as it is, that's really how it goes. I mean, when you have a loss like that, and I thought, Jason brought up a good point when he says, you had the Tulsa game in there, and while we haven't forgotten about it, but we certainly don't talk about it like we did a couple years ago. But that's the thing. We haven't forgotten about that loss. That loss sticks out every time you play Tulsa. Yeah, it sticks out. And every time we talk about a game, especially at Tulsa, we go, well, don't forget about what happened 4 or 5 years ago when Memphis went over there and lost by 40. And now you have, and obviously Penny Hardaway did a lot after that, goes to the tournament and, wins the conference championship. So he's done a lot since then. Now you have this Rice loss at home, which is certainly much worse than a road loss. I think this is going to be one, and you said it, Jason Munn said it, that, Penny Hardaway's going to have to do something to kind of make us forget about this Rice game. And it's not going to be easy because I do think you're right. I mean, this could be a game that really sticks with him his entire career.
And Jason mentioned, go win in Maui.
Sure. Oh, I mean, you go and win
But we don't even know what the team is, but go win in Maui.
But you go win in Maui, and a lot of this year's, muck of what happened this year gets wiped off and forgotten about very quickly, because then you've got we were excited earlier this season. You were excited about the games they won down at the Bahamas, but you go and play in a tournament like that, win it or have a ton of success in it, then really you've got those expectations back because you have proven it against what we think will be really good teams next year.
And I would imagine on the scheduling front, because we know Maui is going to be the last week of November, Thanksgiving week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 25th, 26th, 27th of November. We know college basketball will open on Monday night, November 4th next year, and the Tigers will open that night, probably in a bye game against those teams that we're used to being in those games. I don't want to diminish anyone, but they're gimme wins.
Sure.
I think open with that, then maybe play another one like that 6 or 7 days, week later, maybe one toughie in there, and then go to Maui and see what you got.
Yeah, and I think you're right. You've got that one toughie. I believe they'll play San Francisco on the way out to Maui at the Chase Center.
Great point.
So
you're right.
That's going to be a big game in there.
That won't be easy.
No,
that could be tougher than some games in Maui.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And so way out there in California at the Chase Center.
At Chase Center.
At Chase Center. So that will help a little bit instead of having to play at their home gym. But yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see them, I don't want people to, when they see the schedule and it's, maybe a lot of lesser teams, especially early, you've got to kind of build around Maui and that San Francisco game. I mean, you don't want to go out there and play, as much as Penny Hardaway wants to play the best of the best, you don't want to go out there and, play a team like, Texas A&M and then have to turn around and see San Francisco and those teams in Maui. So I think you're right. I think you'll see some lesser teams to start the season outside of Maui in that game against San Francisco.
Isn't it something how we get the bracket reveal Sunday afternoon, 5 Central our time. We make our copies. We start looking at it. And by this point, top left, bottom right, all the matchups, times, the cities. We really do. This bracket is a magnet, isn't it?
This sheet of paper, Brett. I mean, and it's incredible. And the fact that, Brett, it's Wednesday at 5:45, and I think maybe combined we've spent 30 to 45 minutes on a topic that is not the NCAA tournament.
It's the story.
The fact that you can stretch it out that far, and it's what everybody's talking about for, until really you get to one shining moment and you crown that champion.
We dance to the music the band's playing.
That's right, and it's a lot of fun. I love talking about these teams and these matchups. And
speaking of bands, I wonder if A&M will now. They don't bring the full marching band like football, but I wonder how big of a representation they'll bring to play the their famous fight song. It's something to hear and see.
Yeah, no, you're right about that, and I hope they bring a lot. I hope they bring a lot of fans. I hope they bring a lot of students, and we can get a little taste of that Aggieland tradition.
Brian, we mentioned that Steve Fisher run year when their coach, Bill Frieder, took the Arizona State job, but Michigan had accepted the NCAA tournament bid. Yep. He takes the job, and Bo Schembechler's AD then said he's out. He goes, I want a Michigan man coaching Michigan basketball. Wow. To heck with him. But he's not. And Michigan wasn't expected to do anything that year.
Right.
Their first 2 games, I think they were sent to the Omni in Atlanta. They had to pay a high school band and send them T-shirts and hats with the Michigan logo on it to be at the games, represent them. Got on a run and cut the nets down in '89. Won it all.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a moment for those high school kids. But
hail to the victors.
I mean, to play that fight song and that that
had to rent a high school band. And Bo was notoriously tight too.
Yeah,
but he thought the year was over. He said, "We're not sending anybody."
Lord, that's hilarious. Wow, I did not know about that. That's news to me, and that's hilarious. But hey, that's why March is called March Madness.
That's it.
You never know what's going to happen, and obviously, I know Long Beach State, their head coach. This story that we've got with him, where lost 5 games, they decide to part ways. Now he's about to play Arizona in the first round. He spoke to the media today, and before he even gave his opening statement, he can say, I can say whatever I want to say because I'm not getting paid a cent right now. I'm working for free. I'm literally a Seinfeld episode because this is just a crazy story.
Long Beach State, the only time I've ever seen them in person, they came here in '95, played the Tigers, oddly enough, in a late February game at the Pyramid, and my seat was right behind the visitors' bench. Seth Greenberg, head coach of Long Beach State. If he didn't get tossed, I know he got a technical, and got into it with fans sitting behind the bench, and the language was spirited.
Yeah. I'm sure it was him and Dan Hurley. They are not afraid to let it fly, and both have gotten into it with fans of the opposing team. So now it's going to be a ton of fun tomorrow. I'm really, really excited, especially that first game, kind of the local tie with Mississippi State, not far from here, and also in the SEC, getting us started about 11:15 or so. Well, we need to go ahead, get to our final break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Your chance to get that rare, hard-to-find luxury timepiece is coming to Genesis Diamonds. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Genesis is hosting an epic pre-owned luxury Rolex event featuring a stunning new selection of these hard-to-find watches. Hulks, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batmans, all the hottest models that people wait years for. These are carefully chosen timepieces in pristine condition. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and zero-interest financing. And listen to this. With the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a beautiful pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings free. That's a $4,000 value. Also for this event, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your Rolex. Come see the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches in the state and take advantage of our special financing and get a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings free. It's this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds, your home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Hopler and Perkins Extended. While supplies last, see store for details.
Spring is around the corner. That means the sounds of air conditioners cranking up will be in the air soon. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. This month only, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier AC unit. No gimmicks, just $1,000 off for the Choate's Early Bird Carrier AC Special. If your AC is in good shape, call us to get your $60 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC cleaned and ready for the warm seasons ahead. Choate's is here for all your cooling, heating, plumbing, air duct cleaning, and commercial needs. Call us today at 347-8086 to take advantage of these early bird specials. Or to schedule online, visit ChoatesHVAC.com. So turn to the experts with Choates. And remember, let our family serve your family.
Where are my basketball fans at? Present! Welcome to Fandom 101. The madness is upon us. When the biggest ballers in the land take the court, we need you loud, proud, and live cheering them on. The NCAA Division I men's basketball first and second rounds, March 22nd and 24th in Memphis. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVP tickets. Class dismissed.
It's time to discover your new Kia at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And there's never been a better time to drive off in your new Kia. Make it happen today in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG, $219 a month. How about sporty 2024 Kia Sportage LX? We gossip $289 a month. Both $34.99 to its signing. And get rugged in 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $429 a month. $39.99 to its signing, all 36-month lease. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, 39.85, MSRP 22,320. Sportage R724, 7640, MSRP 29,635. Telluride RG 49,9963, MSRP 41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, might have to make a trip down to Miami to see a Marlins game. They announced earlier today they have all-you-can-eat seats starting at $52. Here's what's included through the 7th inning, and you can get 4 items per trip. Water, cookies, peanuts, popcorn, hot dogs, chili nachos, cheeseburgers, nachos with cheese, and non-alcoholic beverages. I mean, that sounds like you could go and you could have yourself a great afternoon. All the way up to the 7th inning. I love it.
It's a lot better than John Rahm's menu, isn't it?
Well, yes. That's a good point.
I'd like to go to a Marlins game.
Not?
That'd be fun. What I learned today, first of about 105 wins for the Dodgers this morning, but they're like the PGA Tour guys and like these coaches in college basketball at tournament time. They're playing for majors. They're playing for titles. The Dodgers have, since 1965, they've won one real full-season World Series title. Yeah. They beat the Twins in 1965, then in 81, strike-shortened year, real title in 88, no doubt about it, but it took Kirk Gibson's theatrics to get them game 1. It was downhill from there. And then that janky bubble title in 2020 with a 60-game season, that garbage that a man named Fred gave us.
Yeah, that was really bad. What I could have done without, it's got to be the Shohei Ohtani story. His interpreter is fired just hours after the first game of the season for the Dodgers in Korea. Massive theft is alleged. Sounds like it is not very good. So I'm sure we will learn more information in the next couple days, couple weeks about what all went down, how this all went down. And I guess the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani will be looking for a new interpreter for their star player.
Could have done without this. No air conditioning in the Olympic Village in Paris for the Summer Olympics. Part of a try to save the world and reduce the carbon footprint. Nice virtue signaling. But, Brett, we care more than you big meanies do. I can only assume that the IOC, if they're 5-star hotels, that the Hotel Creole, they're sitting in their rooms with no air conditioning on. And I assume that NBC, that paid the massive rights fees for us, Mike Tirico, you think he's sitting in a room with no air conditioning? Do you think the NBC trucks aren't going to be generating power to keep the trucks running? Are they sitting in the heat? You know what I'm going to do? During the Olympics, I'm turning my air conditioner down to about 65 the whole time the Olympics are going on to try to raise my carbon footprint.
Well, it'll be hot out there in early August when the Olympics are going on, so you'll definitely need
I wonder if they tried that in Atlanta in 96.
Ooh, yikes. No, I'm sure not. I'm sure not at all. Where are you beaming tonight?
Back to Dayton for Grambling, Montana State. It's already started, going right now. And later, Colorado and Boise. Do we get a Coach Prime appearance tonight. Does he go and support the basketball team?
I doubt it, but
He didn't go to a bowl game, so maybe he can go to the NCAA tournament.
Well, yeah, maybe. But I would highly doubt we see any of that. You know what? Beam me tonight to an NIT game, SMU in Indiana State. Indiana State wants to prove to everybody, especially after what we saw last night from Virginia, that they belong. They do it tonight against SMU.
Right, the NIT's over.
Well, Brett, I had four. I was telling Johnny earlier, 4 screens last night of the NIT. Real tournament on the big screen.
Tonight, keep a close eye on Cody Williams for Colorado. He could be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. Also, Tristan Da Silva could be late first round, and KJ Simpson will get drafted as well. Why aren't we picking Colorado to win it all with 3 NBA draft picks?
That's a good point. I mean, they certainly have the guys out there to go and make an impact. We've also got 7 NBA games tonight, including 2 ESPN games. Bucks Celtics at 6:30, and the Grizzlies, they take on the Warriors later tonight at 9 o'clock. That's all the time we have. Enjoy these games tonight. A ton of games on before we get on tomorrow afternoon. But we'll talk to you at 3 o'clock.